Futures back in negative territory once again this morning, coming off a negative showing yesterday outside of the Dow that closed at yet another all-time high. Everything else was lower, though, as we had tech and anything growth-related back in negative territory by the end of the session. It was the NASDAQ that led the way to the downside. We just got that ADP private sector payrolls number. Huge beat there right across the board. 807,000 versus 375,000 expected, so more than doubling up on that number. That's, of course, coming ahead of the Friday jobs report we'll get before the market opens on Friday at 8:30. Look at December employment. So a bit of a move back to the upside, not quite back to positive territory, however. We'll also be paying close attention to and watching the Fed minutes coming out this afternoon. A little bit quiet ahead of that, I think, as we get a look at exactly what took place in the last Federal Reserve meeting minutes. Beyond Meat shares moving around here this morning. KFC announcing they're going to launch a fried chicken version of Beyond Meat. So big bump here for BYND. Also lots of EV-related news this morning. We'll talk about Tesla once again here. Fisker, Nikola, both on the move, actively traded in the pre-market as well. It's Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Yeah, pretty flat outside of the NASDAQ. We did try to get back to the positive side of things for the Dow and the S&P there. Didn't quite get there, though. 0.4 for the NASDAQ to the downside. Tech remains under pressure, as we saw yesterday. TSX futures here in Toronto, positive, but only just. Brazil's lower. Crude back to the upside. A bit of a mixed story, yeah, for cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin higher today. Ethereum to the downside. It was the reverse of that yesterday, if you remember. So, yeah, that private sector jobs number, a huge beat this morning, guys. More than doubling what was expected. Again, that's ahead of the December non-farm payrolls coming out Friday morning. We'll also get the Fed minutes, as we said, coming up this afternoon. So the market, I mean, we're basically flat so far.
Basically, but looking a little bit weak. Didn't we sustain a little bit of that bounce, I guess, after market, well, in the afternoon yesterday, and then not holding too much of it up right now. But that's a good job. It's a good jobs report. You got that jolt number that came before, which basically said that still people quitting like crazy and lots of openings. And I guess the pandemic has something to do with that. One thing of note today in the chat, every time I say this, I'm like, hey, in the mornings, everyone types in GM and it means good morning. Well, today, just make sure you specify, because we should be talking about, we will be talking about GM today, General Motors, because Silverado comes out. It's going to be on the watch list. It's all about the mileage for me. I'm not necessarily a truck expert, but I know 400 is what they're expecting when Ford had the 230 and the 300 for the two models. I'm curious because 400 probably just means the high end for GM. So what is the lower end going to be? That's going to be interesting to be able to see. It's going to get rolled out. They have the high from yesterday to be breached at 66. So you can type General Motors. I'm just going to assume everyone after the open, if we're trading the stock, we're talking about General Motors today. And EVs are going to be, look, I mean, the way Ford moved yesterday after Tesla moving, EVs are going to be something we're going to be talking about a heck of a lot. They're still in their infancy to some degree, but a lot of the moving names are going to be in that sector. Obviously, the NASDAQ has some work to do because valuations, did they ever start to matter like really quickly and sort of snowballing yesterday. So I don't think that's necessarily going to be done. That's going to be a theme for this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm just getting my Longeveron ready to go here. Yeah, so I think you sell GM today. I mean, I don't like this 66 level. I think it's, again, way too far, way too fast here. We'll try to sell some of the news today, like Neil was just mentioning. There we go. We are short now, Longeveron. We'll sell the news today at 66. I just think it's too far, too fast on a lot of these names here. You see it had a problem yesterday with 66. And the same thing with Ford. I mean, they're both really high up there. I just prefer to short GM. We'll see. We could lose on this one. We're already sitting there waiting right now for that to come through, but we're going to give it a little bit of room. Like if we can get a 65.80, something like that, up to the upside here today, which we may get soon, that's what we'll do, and we'll wait to see if that happens through 66. So, I mean, again, we may punch the long and go through there, but I like to look at GM for a short today. But what a great day it was yesterday. We had that Ford trade, which was an absolute monster. Hope we could do something similar to that today. But again, here's Ford in, and then finally out right there at the end of the day for just a monster victory there for Ford. And unfortunately, we weren't able to find our way back in. We should have been in here, back down to 24, and that looks like where we're going to open today. So that's why I'm a little bit nervous about some of these names. I'm not super excited about the longs today for Ford or GM. But hey, if they print, they print, and we'll play the momentum. But for right now, yep, a little bit nervous here about some of these tops on both Ford and GM. Nikola, Fisker, Tesla, different story.
Yeah, it was just going back and forth. GM obviously in the spotlight today with the Silverado coming. Just going back and forth a little bit with Justin there, telling him, it's interesting, just the simple angle that they've chosen CES to launch this truck. So trucks are now consumer electronics, which is kind of cool. Before we go any further, Miss V is here, ready to go. Good morning.
Good morning, team. Happy trading to you all. I wish you a positive, profitable day. Please make sure you like this video, and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, let's get it started, guys, with a headline on ExxonMobil here, just coming across as we get going. They had new discovery, it looks like, offshore in Guyana. So another group, if you remember, that was just monstrous yesterday. These energy stocks, past couple of days, in fact, I just saw XOM ticking up here back to 66.50. For XOM. U.S. 10-year higher again today, so Treasury yields are going back up. We'll talk about the banks a little bit, but I mean, we're only back to, the highs from Tuesday, I think it was. We had that decent move back to the upside, but nice look here for XOM to start things off.
That's actually that's the 52-week right there, isn't it? That looks like. I'm going to get the exact price. I'll ask you on the e-signal, but let's just call it 66.50, 66.55, where XOM is right now. Like, if you're going to believe in energy, you can pick your names, you can go with an ETF, but I think it's starting to get back into we should be trading them. I remember in the beginning of the pandemic, when oil prices were going nuts. Like if you watch the show, we were like daily trading Oxy, trading XOM, and sort of using energy as a vehicle. And then it turned into, okay, well, let's look at the travel names, let's look at the EV names, and again, that's just a sort of maturation and sort of moving on to what's going well in the markets. But getting back into the energy names, like I watched Oxy's chart and I was just like, what am I doing? Not even having it up. So I'm going to add XOM to my list. I did have Oxy. And we can maybe talk about that one a little bit later. But I didn't even realize we're looking right at this top here, 66.50 on XOM. Looks like it's primed to break out once again. It does feel, you get the feels right now that with things starting to roll back over. I just saw Beyond Meat break 67. So that kind of took out the pre-market low. Starting to come back in a little bit here, and then you have energy rising again. I'm in Pfizer, but Pfizer has news. They didn't make the watch list, but they have two pieces of good news. So I think that's maybe a little bit of a different story. But if you get energy, banks, and some of your durables rallying again, obviously I think that's going to mean the opposite for tech and growth. We'll see what happens, but great level there for XOM. There's no volume here, so I don't really see any reason to jump into a trade, but this could be a buy the dip situation if it wants to even give you any kind of a test. I don't know why this is. Oh, there we go. Yeah, back into like 65 or so, but I'll be putting this on my list for sure.
Yeah, look, I was talking about this a while ago, and we talked about it yesterday. Maybe picking up something like an XLE, something that is, an energy name here. If you're worried about missing, this is of course is an energy trust. So they're going to hold. You can find the holdings. I mean, they're going to hold all those names: the Chevrons, the whatever, the XOMs, everything that we're talking about here. I don't know about Marathon, but anyway, this has been a nice move up to the upside here. Unfortunately, oil's been a trade that's been ignored, and we don't really talk about it too much, which doesn't make much sense. I mean, it's been just a nice little move up here. Just like some of the banks, it's kind of a flight. It's a little bit of a flight to safety here as there's been a lot of predictions for oil to obviously start to head to the north side, and we're doing that right now on light sweet crude. I mean, it's been a banger for sure. Right there, we can see $F. We talked about that yesterday as well. You can see right here we're up to 77 and change on crude. So again, another move up here today, looking to take out eventually $80. So I think you got to have some sort of exposure here. For a day trade, I'm not sure what we like here. Obviously, that news about XOM just coming down now, finding in, I think it was Guyana there. So we'll wait to see, what that does for XOM, but it's already breaking out. Yeah, past high was 66.38, so we're already breaking through the 52-week high. It's been a nice move up for XOM. Let's see today if it can hold something like 65. But that's we're way off of that now. So we'll have to see where it goes. But for right now, XOM, just a battle back and forth here. I think you got to buy oil on any dips. But for a day trade, I'm not super excited. A quick look here on the imbalance locator. Uber there. I mean, some of these names are already sells. You see the banks are buy. There's BAC right there. NEO, another sell right there coming through. So we'll see if that hits. TSM was a big one yesterday, up to, it's been big lately, up to 131. And then Uber with the sell to 44.25. But all these names are still okay. They're all flat on the day. Uber's flat on the day. What is Taiwan Semi? Yeah, okay, down 2%, so that's not good. There's your Pfizer down here with 80,000 to buy. That's not going to be a big number. But yeah, let's wait to see what happens here. But today should be a good day, again, for the Dow names and, for the properly valued names, the PE names. But I'm very, very nervous for DraftKings. We have it on our sticky note today. A lot of writing on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names, but I'm worried about a few of them. So let's wait to see where we go here today. It should be another dangerous day for the NASDAQ, I think.
Was going to mention a couple of things from CES. Obviously, CES underway right now in Las Vegas. A lot of it happening virtually this year. Here's that note on Pfizer and BioNTech that came out this morning. They're going to expand their mRNA library, including a single dose or single shot vaccine for shingles, which is interesting. But it's up 2%. This thing's been down a couple of days in a row here. BNTX not really doing much of anything. It is positive as well this morning. But yeah, good look for Pfizer here, guys.
Yeah, the reason I like Pfizer in the vaccine plays is because they have a broader pipeline. So on the way up, as things got explosive, you kind of figured your downside wasn't going to be as big because obviously they have a lot to fall back on. They also had the dividend, so it made it a safer play. It also meant it didn't run like Moderna would or BNTX would run. So obviously that's going to be a different story, but you're starting to see volatility in this name, right? Like it's had multiple days here. You can kind of go back, starting in November, it started to really have these massive moves, and now you're getting the first, significant pullbacks, and you see it pull back off $60 and get right into the previous high at 55, 56. It makes a bottom nowhere close to 50 period. Then you get a positive catalyst here today. And, I look at that and consider the fact that if we're living with this forever, then I think the pill is huge for them, first of all. And then two, further applications of mRNA technology, it's just going to be a win for Pfizer. So I did take a break position here. And again, I think it's a decent-sized gap. Obviously, what happened yesterday with the flush, it's a decent-sized gap to be filled. I do like the dip buy in front of the afternoon high. That's down around 55 as well. I do have a bid in front of it, but I did take a little bit for the top-end break here when 55.60 went, and I would want to be covering maybe some in front of 56, but definitely in front of that shelf that got broken down, like 56.25, 56.30, right here when the pre-market low broke yesterday. Pretty much exactly coincides with this breakout going all the way back to mid-December when it went parabolic into that double top. So it's interesting, these levels, and it's easy to say this, but it's worth saying because when you talk about what you miss, you try not to miss it the next time. But when you look at a level like this, if you're watching the pre-market action in Pfizer yesterday, this is right before the open, you had the bottom on Tuesday here at that 56.30. You could then also see that it was a breakout price. That's a pretty significant level to get broken and kind of sets you up for a bit of a follow-through style trade. So obviously I'm bullish on Pfizer in general, so I don't think I was looking for that type of a play, but probably should be. The same way I wasn't willing to take a good short setup on Tesla, I wasn't even looking for one on Pfizer, but I like it for the long side today. If it takes out 55, I'm sitting it out until 54. So you can consider that a relatively tight stop, I suppose. But I'm not going to sit there dying on swords. I'll take one or two swings. The same way I managed to survive NVIDIA when it just got crushed yesterday was by acknowledging the fact that, hey, when you're wrong, you're wrong. Find yourself a better level and then work back to that instead of just sort of averaging in. But I do like the long in Pfizer today.
I see everybody talking about Palantir. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, Moderna, again, another name just bouncing around. There's not much happening today on this. It's only down 0.03, so that's a flat day for Moderna. If you get above 240, maybe that's something for that name. I don't know if that's going to happen today. It's going to have to rally on some kind of news. I mean, pills getting accepted on Pfizer. Merck has the pill too. Moderna's kind of left alone for that. They're just going to be a pure vaccine play, it seems like. So again, who knows if there's more variants coming on. Apparently there's Flumicron now. We talked about that in France yesterday. So, that could mean something else here. But hey, I don't know. I'm just hoping for the best in that we don't really need too many more vaccines or booster shots or whatever's going on. So I don't really like Moderna at these levels. I don't know. You got to let it settle down a bit, in my opinion here. It's just been too volatile the last month and a half. Like when you go up to 380 and then back down to 225, it's a little bit too volatile. So we're going to sit here and wait to see where it winds up. Like I'm wondering if it's more of a play down in, I mean, this is a long ways away. I mean, down here, like 150 or so, but that could be an area of concern for me down here at 150. So maybe something like that, but Moderna is very, very tippy here. It could take this 220 out in the next couple of days, and then it's down from there. So anyways, I'm not an investor in any of these names, but we'll wait to see where we go. Moderna right now, a better name is Pfizer, I think.
All right, Jeff Mendel joining us, VP OTC Markets, with a look at what is happening heading into the new year. Jeff, first off, Happy New Year. Good to see you, as always. Welcome to 2022.
Happy New Year, Brendan. Things seem a little crazy behind me. I'm sorry, actually. There's no one in the office today. It seems like we're back to 2020 right now. But I guess to start things off, we'll take a look at GBTC and ETHE for the first time this year. So both are trading relatively flat this morning, but yesterday they had strong volume, decent amount of activity as well too. Another couple of names that I want to take a look at this morning, Tencent, TCEHY. I think you guys are pretty familiar with that one. It's trading down a little bit in the pre-market today, but I want to keep an eye on that. And then also another name that we don't really bring up too much is a company called BYD. Its ticker is BYDDY. It's actually trading down. It looks around 10% this morning. A little bit of volume in the pre-market, but probably something to keep an eye on if you guys are looking to play something different today.
Yeah, lots of opportunities across the board as we kick things off in January here. Jeff, wanted to mention, if people are joining us for the first time, maybe over the past couple of days, we've noticed some of the most active symbols, once again, coming out of the European market. So there are, and it's worth mentioning here, ADRs that are listed here in the U.S. that people can get access to, maybe moves that are happening, early in the morning as European markets get underway, obviously well before U.S. markets do. So some of those names worth talking about as far as volume as well.
Yeah, so two that I mentioned, right? Tencent and BYD. They are, I think they're Asia Pacific, but another couple of names. A lot of names are Germany. Usually like Volkswagen, BMW, to name a few, and then names like Adidas and Nestle's. These are all names that trade over the counter, and they're all tradable on OTCX as well too. So yeah, definitely lots of names to look at. Europe, globally, right? Let me bring up Volkswagen real quick. Let's see what's going on over there. The ticker is VWAPY. Let's see. There's actually a few trades in the pre-market this morning. It's a name that always trades a decent amount, always has a lot of liquidity. And like I mentioned, you can check out OTCX in that name, and you'll always be able to get a fill.
Yeah, great resource as well. I wanted to bring up for those maybe, as I mentioned, anyone new. We'll start things off in a new year with a look at a great resource for those interested in OTC markets, guys, right on their homepage. You can scroll down to market activity here, and it just gives you a list of some of the most active names. You can sort by volume, share volume, or notional here. For those being traded, there's GBTC, ETHE as well, among a few of the names listed there by Jeff. Anything else viewers need to be aware of, Jeff, as we get going here on a Wednesday?
A little bit more technical, but you will start to see OTCN in the box in a lot of these really popular names over the next couple of weeks. It's actually a depth of book feed that is available for the first time in the over-the-counter market. So look for OTCN in the box. It's the same liquidity that you see on OTCX. But yeah, that's a good one for the guys out there who are a little bit more technical and are looking for more tools in the space.
A brand new year, brand new tools. Always a good note to leave things off. Jeff Mendel, VP OTC Markets, thank you so much. As always, sir, we'll speak again soon.
Thank you, Brendan.
A few names there, guys, from our friend Jeff Mendel on OTC, guys. It has been a volatile, to say the least, start to the year for cryptocurrencies. He mentioned GBTC and ETHE on PK market here for anyone at Day Trade the World.
Yeah, what I found most interesting is we talk about like the Chinese EV numbers and all the time how BYD, the backed by Warren Buffett, leads the way, and it's like, why did we never think about the fact that they would trade in the OTC? Because you can trade it here. So look, they're obviously a competitor. They're not like, they don't make the same type of vehicle as maybe what NIO and some of the nicer sedans are doing, maybe a little more simplistic. But yeah, they have been doing incredibly well. If you look at any of the numbers, they've been blowing everyone out of the water. Usually they're number one on all the lists, and then like you'll see Tesla like 2, 3. XPeng usually is up there. But yeah, BYD, that's the value of the OTC market sometimes, trading these names that you can only access in North America in the OTC markets, whether it's European names, whether it's out in Asia. So once again, Jeff teaches us a little bit of something, and I didn't see him talking too much about Dallas, but I'll kind of leave that.
Berkshire batteries. Well, Dallas won, didn't they, this weekend? Or did they? I can't remember. I think they did. But they're in that NFC least, so I don't know who's going to come out of that. But
Dak's arm is looking as good as mine. That's all.
Philly looking nice. But the problem with Dallas, and I know we have a lot of people on the chat here with Dallas, but they're weapons. I mean, they have like CeeDee Lamb, Amari. It's just, if they get it together, that's the only team in the NFC right now for the Packers that I'm worried about. So we'll see. But they're gonna. I mean, Dak's not coming to Lambeau and winning, and I've already said that.
Fighting words to Tampa
in the chat. Tampa Bay. Give me a break. Okay, so, but Tom Brady is the master of the big game. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Tom Brady versus anybody, I think you got to take Tom Brady in a one-on-one there for that. But I'm hoping that the gods of Lambeau will come through here. I mean, as an owner of the company, or of the team.
What's a company?
Yeah, I guess it's a company. As the owner of the team there, I'm a little bit nervous. GBTC, again, another great name brought to you by Jeff Mendel there and the OTC markets. If you did want to get into an equity space, obviously I trade BTCC over in Toronto as an investment, but the same kind of thing here on the Grayscale product. Moves with Bitcoin. As you can see, Bitcoin's really been stuck. I can call up the Bitcoin chart, but this will be good enough. Bitcoin's been stuck here the last month, basically, from the beginning of December till now. Sure, it's down, but it's kind of in this little range here where we've bumped up and then come right back in. So again, Bitcoin, Ethereum, we all know what's good. It's at 46, 45,000. That 45,000 mark. When that does break, then you'll probably get, not probably, this will follow it almost 1-to-1, but you'll get a breakdown below this $30, $31 level. So let's wait to see what does happen with Bitcoin here. But GBTC, a great tool, and ETHE, another good one. And they do have Litecoin ones, LTCN as well. So there are a few that do some decent volume going through. But hey, Grayscale products, good on the pink sheets for sure. Other ADRs, Adidas is a good one for that. And I like Tencent if you do like any of the Chinese names. Brendan, how are the upgrades and downgrades looking today, my friend?
Yeah, a few notable ones once again this morning. Tesla back on the board to the upside. Barclays liking Tesla. There's Pfizer. Intel, Chevron to the upside. Interesting, Chevron and Oxy. Wells Fargo not liking Oxy. There's been back and forth all week long with these energy names. Domino's, Kellogg's, and Regeneron, guys, to the downside.
Regeneron. You were just noticing up there, like Chevron with the upgrade by Wells, Oxy with the downgrade. Look, in terms of a better company, I think I'll go with Chevron. I mean, Oxy's got the plastics thing going on, but yeah, to own, I prefer Chevron. I just think Oxy's usually a little bit more volatile to be able to day trade. But Tesla getting the upgrade, but didn't they? 325 price target. It's always interesting because analysts are just all over the place with their prices on Tesla. Like I saw someone that had a neutral at like 250.
Yeah.
Neutral. At I almost said how can you be neutral at $250?
You could say how the heck.
How the heck can you be
allowed?
neutral? My daughter thinks heck's a bad word. I say that and she's like, bad word, daddy. So I'm
Like
not
Tyrone
sure.
Bigham's like the Packers are 39-9 under LaFleur. Like, come on.
The Packers are great, but I mean, Tom Brady's Tom Brady. Tom Brady's broken my soul as a Bills fan for years. So
I mean,
it's hard for me to
the only
bet
problem
against.
with the Packers is our quarterback is 1-4, right, Neil, in NFC Championship games.
Wow.
So, I mean, the fact that they've been there 5 times is amazing, but he's not performing under big games. So hopefully he doesn't worry too much about the Pat McAfee show and all that stuff, and he focuses on winning the damn game.
I love Pat McAfee, by the way.
He's
great.
I'm only saying that because him and Aaron Rodgers have like some sort of a bromance there. So as long as they get their stuff together. So Intel, I saw Northland Group there, grabs the upgrade, I believe. Not a big name, obviously, upgrading them, but if you try, and I just said to Neil, like, I got to try to get long something today, right? So maybe it's going to be Intel. I mean, we look at AMD as well, but Intel yesterday, they revealed new chipset yesterday, so that started to get going. You can see there was really no good volume yesterday. Intel, though, closed the day before 53.15. Closed yesterday lower, so it was a lower day for them, but basically flat at the end of it all. So although we did have some wreckage yesterday, obviously you can see a name like an AMD. This Longeveron just bouncing back and forth. I took a little bit of profit there. Oh, come on. We still have the Intel chart? Oh, God. All right. Anyways, relative to AMD, like it just said AMD and then it flipped back for some reason. Relative to AMD yesterday, you could see down from 152 all the way to close at 144. You know, that's a big move down, $8 downwards. You don't see the same pull. We can see NVIDIA as well in pull to the downside, of course, with Intel. So, you know, that's, we talk about old tech becoming, this looks like the AMD chart again, old tech becoming new again. You've seen IBM start to rally their face off. Wow, what's that? Nice little bump up here in the NQs right now. And you've seen a name like IBM. Yeah, that brings me to Qualcomm. I think Qualcomm needs to be bought as well. Wow, IBM up to 138. So you see this name yesterday basically saying, hold my beer to everything, because as new tech gets pummeled here, IBM just continues to work. The best daily chart, I cannot find a more attractive daily chart than this. Look at this, Lucas. From 116, just like absolutely a monster here for international business machines. Yeah, just ripping off right here, right back into the upside. So, like, completes a Miss V. This should be Valeria's favorite stock here. Miss V, look at the screen. Look at this. Down and up. This is a Miss V stock right here. So I think IBM, there we go. Yeah, almost exactly like that. The 2 peace signs, throw them up there, a nice little V. So, you know what, let's get over to Miss V right now if we can, because honestly, I hit the like button, but there's over 4,000 people watching right now. We've got the sticky note out. We're killing it today. We've got football talk. We're both in positions. This has been a fun day. Brendan's killing it like as per usual. So let's go over to Miss V if we can. Can we, guys?
Hey guys,
thumbs up. All right,
let's
over to Miss V for likes. What's up, Miss V?
What's up, Sean? Let's talk a little bit. Guys, please smash the like button. Let's do them earlier today. And it will be our goal to get more than 2,000 likes today. So please, if you just joined us, if you forgot to like, do it right now. And let's get at least 1,000 before the bell for the lucky day. Back to you.
Yeah, come back here because, yeah, keep it on this. Because, Miss V, I've noticed, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I think you've stepped up your earring game. Like, I feel like there's a bunch of new earrings. Was that a Christmas present? What's going on with that? Is that like a new obsession? Because I know, like with me, I start to wear shoes, and the next thing I know, I bought 5 pairs. Like, what's up with the earring game?
Thanks for noticing. Yeah, it was just pre-New Year shopping. You know, they say like you should celebrate New Year in something new because it's New Year, right? So yeah, made some shopping. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah. Hey, no problem. Thank you. If anyone wants to send out some earrings, maybe Ms. V will model them for you. So let us know about that. But thank you, Ms. V. So I'm really glad that is true. Sometimes, you know, we as, you know, the other side tend to miss those things. So
I'm not very observant.
I've been well trained for that one. So there it is, Ms. V with the new earrings, guys. Hit that like button. Let's go. Let's get that going. And hey, if everyone sends $1 super chat, then we'd have $4,000, and we would be able to buy Ms. V those like I mean, what are fancy earrings? Does Gucci make earrings or something like that?
Well, at that point, you just slapping a gigantic diamond in your ear, right?
Yeah, just like one big ass diamond.
Yeah.
Or don't put that one on your forehead. Someone will rip it off. Like, I don't know, who was that? Gucci Mane or something?
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
I don't know. Okay, we are supposed to be talking about stocks, so let's do that. The man that's always nothing but business, Brendan.
Yeah,
let's
what
start.
just popped off here?
There we go. Thank you, Chris. It has already started. The $1 have come in here, so let's see what happens here today. But Brendan, please get us back on track.
I will do my best. Sean, just watching a couple of people mentioning this LIXT. Big move up 120%, in fact. On heavy volume, watch three right above us here. It comes back to these levels for LIXT. There was a cancer-related release there that came out at 8:30, so heads up on that one, picking up in volume as we speak. So we'll keep an eye on LIXT. Arun is on his way. We'll get to Arun in a second here. Maybe we can jump into what else is moving around in the pre-market, guys. That's the link to the watch list. We go over it every day at this time. We'll talk about what's moving around in the pre-market and why, come up with a game plan for 30 minutes, exactly 30 minutes from now when the market opens. Beyond Meat, the big news story this morning, KFC launching, I guess it's fried Beyond Meat version of their product for the remainder. I guess it says a limited time, starting January 10th for a limited time in the U.S. If this goes well, though, I mean, one analyst I saw said as much as 10% of annual revenue could come from this if it's picked up.
Yeah, that's not a small number. Obviously, look, KFC is a pretty big deal when it comes to selling chicken and meat products. And look, that's a big deal for Beyond Meat. Keep things in perspective, because at one point it was up 10%, and even when it was up that 10% pre-market, you were still in the same cluster of a range here on the daily chart for Beyond Meat. So, I'm sort of with the author of the Black Swan, Nassim Taleb, believing in the minority theory, which is basically eventually at some point you think that the plant-based, or I guess laboratory-grown meat is going to taste the same, cost the same, and be about the same nutrition. And once that happens, it'll be a heck of a lot easier for everybody to be doing the same thing than necessarily sort of staying with regular meat. So I think that's down the line, but possibly way in the future. So I think you're still betting on a high valuation name, which at the end of the day is going to be under pressure this year like everybody else. So my first thought was, okay, we could have that 930 rollover, sell the new 68 to 69 off of this high, and then you're looking at the 70 to 75. And that was the first thing I thought when I sat down. I wasn't thinking a breakdown trade, or I'd be short the 67 as we speak. The more it falls down here, I got to start thinking about, well, I mean, on the good news, it's still a game changer for them. It could find support at 64. So I've gone from wanting to short the pop, because we're now so far away from that resistance level, that I got to think about if it can base out 63 or 64, one of those lows. Maybe that's where the actionable trade is going to be. So I do think this matters for them. I still think they have a long, long way to go. And this could be a tough year for names like this, even when they have positive catalysts. So, I sort of tread lightly. I don't think we have to rush in, always trying to figure to have the bottom in something like a Beyond Meat. There's lots of competition out there for them. I'm not sure how plant-based versus laboratory-grown is even going to play out in general. I think that's going to take years before we figure out a winner.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but you know what? I kind of feel like this is a new thing for them. Like fried chicken. I mean, shout out to Trader Pratt. I mean, we all know about Super Chicken and whatnot. I just think this could be a game changer. This could be something that sticks. They've tried, the beef patties and the pork, and we've had a few different things here in Canada at our Tim Hortons as kind of like tester spots. I thought McDonald's was going to be doing something with like a PLT type of thing, but I just feel like this is another chance for Beyond Meat just to get going again and to like have another revenue stream. Like you mentioned there, possibly 10%. KFC's monstrous. They're big in Asia. And this is just another opportunity for them to get another product out in the marketplace. They'll see if it works, it goes through. But I wrote down also here on the sticky note today that basically it's great news with KFC, 10% of revenue, the same thing that we talked about today, $68.50. I'd rather take out the top there, but I did want everyone to notice that there's also a 70 level. I mean, I have to zoom back in a little bit here. We've bounced around 60 69, and it's just upside here at 70. Like we were just here a few days ago, right, at this top, and you can see we've topped out here at 70. You're starting to pull back in right now, so I think this is going to be a show me deal right now. No point in paying up 10% for this, would be my guess, is what people are thinking. Why pay up for it? Let's show us the fact that this is going to be a profitable business. This is going to be a profitable, new product release. And I think if they could do that, then that's fantastic. But I think it's like put up or shut up right now for them. We'll see if we can play some kind of dips, but that's what we basically had here. Watch the 70 top. I think I'd like to short that. I was thinking taking a 68.50 break if we held up here, but the market has spoken and it looks like we're making a move to the downside. I'm looking maybe at 66.50 right now. We also have on the sticky note today over 19 retweets. Yesterday we had 50. If you can, guys, go over here. The more people that look at this again, the more attention brought to some of these names. GM, we like a 66 short on there. We'll get to Palantir, but more news with Hyundai there. We'll continue the long. What a great trade that was yesterday. Banks and DraftKings all on the sticky note. So if you guys wanted to get a little bit more, just what I've been doing anyways, you can have a look there. And there goes Longeveron again, guys. We just took another 30-cent win. Long. We reloaded down here. We first were short, and then we got out when it broke 14. So we took a 25-cent hit or something. No, 20-cent hit on that one. And then we just went long. We took a long there, averaged in, and now it's starting to go back up to the upside. So we've just taken a little bit off there. I'm not...
Before we go to Arun, because I think we always get this if we're in opposing positions, right? Like, I always like this gap up, consolidate lower, and then play off of that level. So, I'm just working off of that. And you can, when you're inside of a range, it's perfectly viable in a stock that you know is going to be volatile to like it one direction or another. Like, certainly if it breaks, it has a chance to go to 15, and that's why I want to have my stop just above that 35. And if it breaks to the downside, I actually will hold more than half the position if it breaks 13. Like right now, I'm getting it less than half down to 13 even, despite having a 1380. Like I think if it goes down, we're breaking 13 even. And I think if we're going up, we're testing 15, which means tight stop. Well, I mean, it seems relatively tight, but it's not really that tight of a stop on the short. And then you can play it in both ways. If you're inside the range, you could scalp it. It could break out in either direction. This is day trading, right? It's not that uncommon. I know it doesn't happen every day, but it's not that uncommon for us to be in opposing positions in the same stock. It definitely means it's a stock worth watching, though. That's for darn sure. I was saying darn.
Yeah, we are going to go to a room. There was one thing else I want to talk about. Someone just said, oh, they're mentioning to you, Neil's in Pfizer. You can see our trades at the bottom there. What I want to do is just give a thank you here. Thank you to William Craig. Again, thank you so much. You've been sending us super chats pretty much every day. So thank you so much for that. And I think that was about that Valeria talk and things like that. And so thank you for that. And then Manu, welcome to the jungle, man. Thank you for becoming a member. We have about 2,000 members or so here at Trader TV Live for $5 a month. Thank you for supporting us. So that's been very good and very helpful to us. So thank you to everybody, William Craig especially. Thank you one more time for that super chat.
All right, as promised, Arun has joined us to have a look at the overall market. Once again, Arun, we did try to test positive there, but I mean, everything kind of on hold, I guess, until we get these Fed minutes today.
Yeah, and the market, it's playing around this 4,800. It's been playing around with it since last week. We had a chance to kind of get going yesterday. I mentioned off the top that if we could take out yesterday's highs and get going, we kind of got there. One tick is not much of a take, but it looks like 48.10 is going to be that level now. Given what kind of action we're getting around that 48.05, it's going to have to be 48.10 to kind of get above. And given and this is the other thing too, given the amount of selling that was there yesterday around that 48.05, anytime we went up, there was a bunch of selling coming back down. So I would wait to see how we trade above 48.10. Can we get above there? Can we trade well? I say this often. What I mean by trade well is, can we get above there and then absorb any selling that comes through? At that point, you could say, you know what, buying strong enough, let's go for the long, right? So 48.10 is going to be up top. That's a level I'm looking at. But at the same time, you got to leave the door open for potential shorts here. Anytime you enter the 47.85 area, we're not too far away. We're 5 points away. Anything past that, if there's a nice little setup on the short side, you have to respect that 4,800 going up to 48.10. So open up the shorts as well. If the setup is there, you put up the 25-point risk. You take the shot against the 48.10 and see if the market can actually go down, because there is a ton of space to the downside. We do have that 47.30 is when we start finding support, and the actuals, I guess the bottom of that support zone would be 46.90. So there's a 40-point range through the bottom where you can find some support in. So if you take a short of the 85s, there's a decent amount of space to the downside. So I would just kind of leave the door open for some shorts, but be careful on how you trade. It does look like yesterday there was a massive divergence in tech versus the S&P. It looks like we're starting to see tech weaker today as well. You might see a flip though. You might see some, I guess, more tech strength today in the event the market were to reverse course, right? So tech is always going to be the more volatile of the two markets. And if that decides to kind of get going, well, that's going to move much faster than the S&P, and then S&P will get dragged up by the tech names as well. So just be aware of that relationship between the two markets and their components. So 48.10 up top and 46.90 down below. And here we are sitting not too far away from potentially a short if the setup is there.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Nicola, guys, the next one on the list this morning. Here's this headline. USA Truck Incorporated buying 10 additional BEVs, which is that from Nicola. So we talked a little bit about over the past couple of weeks the initial delivery of one of those. So they get an order for 10 more here for Nicola, guys. So more positivity anyways for this company.
10's more than one. I guess that's what.
Yeah.
I don't know.
10 times more, I think.
that math is 100% right. Shouldn't be always joking about these things, but it's all in perspective. Like Nicola up 4% is just, it'll look more impressive on the 1 minute chart. And it's going to feel like a fade some point. I know this is going to be like a broken record for some of these, I kind of feel. We've already broken through what would probably have been the first trade that I would have had. Had it been at 1060, 1070 at 930, then for sure I would be playing off of that level for a roll. Now I kind of have to sit this one out. It's either $11 or $11.50. I just can't. I'm not going to be a buyer up here. On a day where the run you had yesterday in Ford, and then GM went up, in part because, yes, they're doing their release, but dragged up as well. And then you have, what Tesla did on the reversal, going down, being so weak. I just see all the reason in the world that there'll be some profit taking in something like a Nicola if it gets too big of a bump here. So, count me out for looking for this to the long side. It's past the level I would have already shorted it at the open. I'm going to have to look back to 11 to 11.20 and then maybe sit this one out at least for the short term. But I'm not going to be a buyer on this. The volume is actually pretty good, so it does deserve to be here on the watch list. It's over 1 million shares. That's actually really good. And you guys mentioned Pfizer, and I didn't show it to you, although we did talk about it a little bit. I did scalp a little bit out the second pop here when it got to 55.80. There was a seller there. I'm back on the bid. I want to be getting the bid and then buying back in before the open. I think this is one where I'll be buying the dips, and I want to see if we can fill in that gap to 56.25.
Just looking at the chat here. So look, Nicola's on the watch list today. The last time something on the sticky note, the last time something like this happened, we just absolutely took off to the upside like mad. So we'll see if that can happen again today. I don't know. I mean, again, the EV space in this environment, it's not great. You're buying EV right now, for the potential, what's to come. And, if they can get more deals here, Nikola seems like it wants to work out. So, if that's going to be the case, we were long down here and sort of getting talked about there when we were long, and we were long because of 9. And right now you're getting some decent news in. I like Nikola. I think that there is a potential for it to go up today, but at the same time, if you get anywhere near 12, I think that's an instant fade because we've been up here before. But at the same time, I do have a bid back down here near 1020. Let's see if it gets back into yesterday's area. And then we have this bottom of 960. This can't be bad news, can it? So we'll wait to see. I mean, this is one where it seems like it's good news. It's another deal. If Nikola falls back anywhere near 10, we want to take the long. We've talked about that, 960, 980, something like that. Back in here would be our stop. So I don't know if we even need to put a stop in. I don't think this will be a very heavy trade today. But again, if we come back into $10, I think you got to buy that. They are selling it off a little bit. There's that 1085 that we talked about that's on the sticky note. No, sorry, it was 68.50 for the other name there on Beyond Meat. But 1085, we did talk about it on the sticky note to take the pre-market high. So that's going to be that level. Let's see if the momentum can come through here on Nikola today. But up 3.5%, decent. But I don't know, man. I know, Neil, you said the volume's pretty good. It's okay.
A million's okay.
A million's okay, but I think it's been doing a lot more on days when there's some moves. So I think that today is a very dangerous day. Like, I'm not overly confident about the direction of the market today. Yesterday, the NASDAQ got crushed, and that makes me just think that some of these overvalued names may get hit again today. Obviously, there's a change here. We've talked about XLF, possibly have been bought the last couple of days. You should have been in some banks. We talked about that. Its banks have been working. You see XLF yesterday, a nice move to the upside. We could talk all about Deere, Caterpillar, the steel names, the industrial GE, definitely working as well as we go. And then names, since we're here on AM, so it won't screw up the chart, names like ARC and whatnot have been getting hit, right? So sort of the new businesses getting hit right now, and ARC is one of those. So, hey, until this starts to get going back to the upside and the NASDAQ really starts to go, I'm very nervous about names like Nikola, even Fisker, SoFi, things like that just don't have the earnings, right? Affirm is a completely different beast. I think Affirm can get going, but again, I just feel that this buy now, pay never stuff is it's an easy.
But that's like credit cards, though. Remember,
I know, but credit cards have so much more business than Affirm.
It also, but it's like the beginning of credit cards. You got to remember, it was only one of the three major reporting credit agencies that they were giving data to, right? Now it's going to be two of the major three. So when you don't pay, it's going to affect your credit, and that's the reality. So they're in that growth stage, and again, that's going to be under some pressure. I think it's overblown, some of those concerns, because everybody knew that was going to. It's always an issue when you're giving out credit that people might not pay it back, but at the end of the day, they do a credit check, and then it prevents you from being able to purchase in the future if you don't make your payments. So they do have there are things along the lines.
It's just a lower bar, that's all. When you're doing this buy now, pay later, basically anybody can get approved. Yeah. It's a little bit different than credit cards from what I've been reading. But
100%. But there is risk involved. But I think all of those are understood. And if it's not understood, then I'm not sure where we've been for the last year on this. But I don't think it's going anywhere. I just think in this environment this year, you have the rate hikes and you have valuations being a concern and wanting to see profitable companies. And that makes it a difficult year for them in general. And that goes with, I think, a lot of fintech. But, by the way, I just want to quickly, this MYNZ, I think it's a 2 million float that Brendan mentioned. It's starting to come off pretty heavily here, but this 1750 to 18 level was support really, really early around 7 o'clock. So if it can hold that up, it might have another run in it. If there's something that would halt today, this would be near the top of the list.
Hard to borrow on that one as well. I just checked again, 60 cents per share to short that today. Let's go to Ford and GM. We'll group them together because, the news is essentially the same. Huge move for Ford yesterday on the F-150 Lightning production increase, doubling in fact. General Motors, as we said, taking the stage today at CES with the Chevy Silverado finally being debuted, guys.
We talked a little bit about GM. I think that they had their run yesterday with Ford as well. They're not on my list to buy today. I actually like a short here into 66. It's just been a top. It could take it out. There's no doubt about that. So we'll hold it a little bit here. But again, yesterday, high of 66. I'm actually sitting on the offer right now, almost getting filled here, 66.8, 65.80, right? Yeah, 65.80 there. And I just think that yesterday we had a nice move up. Here's 66. We touched it, fell back down. This is probably a sell the news event. So we'll wait to see. It's just one of those things where we bought it yesterday, right? Buy the rumor. It's not even a rumor, but everyone knew they're going to be at CES. Ford comes out yesterday, knocks it out of the park. Obviously, GM on the coattails all the way to the upside. Both names working. Their GM was overtaken yesterday by Toyota for the most sales in the U.S. I don't know if that really matters. But anyways, I'm just trying to fade this off. Here's 65.80 right in here. So we'll take a short. If it takes it out, man, it's 20. I'm gotta make sure I have yeah, I do. So it's going to be a 20-cent hit. We have it crossed up to 66.10. The only problem is, you get this short early, and then, just in the opening, chaos. Yesterday there wasn't any chaos in the open, so maybe it will be okay today. But sometimes you do get wicked out or wicked into a trade here right off the open. So I am very, very weary of that. We could go short here, get taken out as it bumps higher. And then if it comes back through, I want to keep my eyes on GM because that's one that I want to short when we break back down through 66 if we do take it out. So that's sort of what I'm looking at here on GM. And then before I throw over to you, Neil, let's just have a quick look here. So AT&T on a buy right now. They had some news yesterday about gaming. And again, AT&T probably a decent value play down here, but I don't really like the stock, but whatever, it's working right now. So Pfizer as well on a buy. Citigroup, I mean, the banks just keep getting stronger and stronger. You can see Citigroup today up another 1%. Uber on the sell. Uber might be another name to sell, but again, I like that for the reopen. And then NEO looking at 28. I don't want to be interested in NEO until we get down to 28 bucks.
Yeah, I mean, look, I tried twice in the afternoon show on General Motors, thinking that it should have been a reversal up there. So I'm not going to really change that, although it is setting up for that particular trade, you know, like the whole pop and drop kind of idea. So I do usually want the stock to open up first and then test the high, either fail, break it, or roll over before getting into the short. So I'm gonna sit it out until 9:30, but my intention is to play it just like in the afternoon. That 66, obviously it's a new high, but it didn't break it by much. It was like 65.25 yesterday, and now we're looking at 66 today. I will be watching it very closely because I want to see if they come out and the bottom end of the range on the Silverado is higher or the same as the top end range on the F-150. That might be received pretty well. Currently, they're saying the high end's 400, but you know, obviously that's going to be for the most expensive model, the base model. I'm interested to see what kind of range it does have. 10 minutes to go. Pfizer breaking the top. If it gets to 56, I'll cover some more. Still want to buy the dip on that one.
All right, let's go to Palantir. A lot of people talking about Palantir still all the way back here to where we were yesterday at the end of the day. After, I mean, a nice move initially up to 18.5 on this South Korea news. Hyundai Heavy Industries Group, they're going to team up with in South Korea to do some software work for in offshore engineering and shipbuilding. So nice move initially, but I mean, not much volume took this thing up there to 18.5.
Remember when I came in, Brandon, I said, oh no, not another good deal for Palantir. It's horrible because every time they get a deal, they seem to go to the downside. So yeah, I mean, Hyundai going to partner with them, possibly more expansion here. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I love data, and they're trying to make businesses more efficient, and their businesses are lining up to sign up with them, right? It's about the consumer business, though. You know, they do have a lot of contracts, military, and now, you know, into commercial as well. They need to sort of try to figure out maybe how to bring this back down to the consumer level. But again, we are long already right now, Palantir. We take that dip, it goes into the money for, what are we long, 10s, 11s? 11s. It does go up to 18s or 19s for us there. We don't take any out at that level. We'll see if it wants to keep on going to the upside. It's a sell a little bit on any pops. We've talked about that. I'm not confident in Palantir. Again, it's not the right stock for, I'm confident in the long term, but it's not the right stock for this environment. It's come down a lot over the last little while, and you know, the only thing about it is when I talk about it's coming down, like this is why this goes back to December. Like we're almost a month here. This is like a month worth of trading on Palantir. It keeps getting down here to 1780 and then pops right off those levels. So we'll keep playing that until it doesn't. Obviously, our breaking spot's going to be like 1775, something like that on the downside. So we'll average into this Palantir trade. I like it today. Again, we did have, guys, those of you, it's too bad we can't see this yesterday, but we were buying pretty much all of these dips and then just getting out on every single pop. And then the last one was the best because look what it did here into the close. So we were long down here at 1780, and it popped all the way to 1820, giving us 40 cents worth of a win off the open yesterday. So Palantir continuing to make some nice moves. We'll see what happens here, but again, you got to respect this 1780 bottom. And until then, we'll just wait to see what happens with PLTR. But we're long this name, going to get out on pops, and hopefully it continues to pop through to 1840, 1850. Like you said, Brendan, it's pulled back here today. So, hey, if it's a good news, they'll like it and they'll take it higher. If not, we will test the 1780 again, and we are waiting down here to get longer.
Longeveron, an interesting look this morning. LGVN. I mean, we're back to the downside a little bit here, but coming off the highs. If you remember yesterday, we were talking about that Hoth, HOTH, was higher after some Alzheimer's related news. This is the same thing, essentially. So they came out with some data regarding their treatment, and still in the works. But I mean, it's failed a couple of times here at 14. So trying to come off from 14 back through to 13.5. I mean, everybody knows this story. There is a short interest on this. So I think we do have to be a little bit careful with LGVN.
Have a stop. Like anytime I can go to the 15 of the daily and have like a spike level to work off of that it's already failed at. This is the 15-minute. You can see on the 28th, it failed the same price, 15 and change. So it did the same thing here this morning. And if you missed that trade, you always look. I'm always looking for the lower consolidation. Happens to be right around the peak from the 30th, right around that 14 range. So I'm short in front of the 14. Give it about an extra quarter to 30 cents or so of slippage. The first leg I actually just started getting out in front of 50s here, and then I'll work some of it out in front of 13. The bottom end, I think your best bet is 12 to 12.50 would be the ultimate target for the second half of the position. So, already in it, got a plan of action that we're working with. Like I said, that NYNZ is going to move like gangbusters. I'm not going to likely have a trade on that until after it opens up. If it looks like it's going to halt up on NYNZ, I might try to take that halt. But for now, it's looking weak.
Yeah, we've been getting in and out of Longeveron. We have a small position right now. If it breaks through 13.50, then obviously we're not going to hold this. But really a nothing burger here, just holding to see if we do take out the top. Our last couple outs were at the 20s here through 14. So that would have been a great spot to reload the short. But, it could take, it could go back up to $15. This is just one of those like hope and pray names. Excuse me. The market's going to open up, and then we'll just see volume weighted average price at 14. But this is a name that has run before. There's a few today that have this possibility. So, like Neil just mentioned, you do have a bottom of 11.20. If Longeveron gets into there, then I think you can load it up with some confidence that there's at least an 11 bottom. See here, it goes right back upside. So, like now we're in the money 10 cents. It's just like bouncing around here. So I don't really have too much faith in this, other than when it opens, maybe we do get that spike back up to 14. So that's something that we're looking at. Here we go. Now it's starting to go, but we'll wait to see here. As Longeveron bouncing around, only 4 minutes to go. Brendan, what are you looking at over there?
Same as Neil. That's MYNZ. 2 million float. This is a recent IPO, so you got to go back to, the actual IPO filing, because I can't find the float anywhere. But there was 2 million shares offered on the IPO back in November. So 18 was that spike high on that day. We're bouncing along 18 right now, in fact. So same as what Neil was saying. Below 18 probably gives you a nice move back into 14, 15 area was a consolidation on the way up here. But above that, sky's the limit, guys, for MYNZ.
Yeah, look, I actually did short. I should say I did short this at 20 early on for a small position and took some out at 19 just to scalp it, and then thought better of getting in at the high and just got out. Thank goodness got out of it. But this one looking pretty crazy. It's held support at that 17. I think it's big. SENS is another one I want to quickly get to because I love the range that this has put in. Look at the 50 and the 200 period moving average, and covered up by that range is literally the pre-market range here. So 3 at the bottom and change, 320 at the top. So I'm shorting pops in this. I'll reverse it 320, and then if you get the short, I'm waiting for it to break 3 and then fill the gap to the downside. I love those tight clusters because they give you such a much more structured trade. SENS is another example of that.
So we just say that because we got peace out there. It just went back up to 14, this Longeveron. So we're going to hold, like right now we just have 20%. So we're going to hold this to see if it can go upside and make a winner out of this trade up to 15. If it breaks the high, I just want to be into something in case this does get going, and Longeveron is the one to watch. So we're going to wait for this one. If it takes out some of these highs, maybe we'll punch our ticket again, but it's already been up here. So I think I'm pretty confident. We'll hold this 80s. It's 20 cents in the money. We just took 18 cents. They're out at 98. So now we'll wait to see where it goes through 14 or not. But that's that. Thank you so much, Jagerbomb. Again, I know we've seen you lots of times here. Spent the entire December back testing. Hey, this is what it's all about right here. So Jagerbomb, thank you so much for saying that. That's what it's all about, man. You want to back test. You want to make sure that the strategies you're doing have worked for you in the past, and that they can have the potential to work again. You can't just, a strategy just can't be just like take all of these names long or take all of these names short, or, you have to back test. Everything is promised full time in February. This is another big point here. I will succeed. So good. That's, positive. Here we go. Let's go, Longeveron. But it's positive talks. It's all this stuff. AMD Short Fest. Yeah, we talked about, okay, so now Longeveron's starting to get going a little bit here. Obviously, now we don't wish we got out at VWAP, but starting to go to the upside. That's another name. 2 minutes to go. But again, just a structured trade. Neil and I have sort of broke this one down, so we don't need to talk too much about it. Why did someone say AMD? Yeah, because the NASDAQ's starting to go back down here. AMD not moving, but again, you have that 140 bid here that's hit a couple times. over the last little while here. Down here, 140 there, 140 yesterday. So watch out for that. I mean, it only got to 140.50 or so yesterday, but you can watch out for that level on a move down. It's still a little ways away, but don't kid yourself, man. This thing can go $3 to the downside. Yesterday it went 10. So we'll watch out for AMD today. Tesla, we haven't talked about that yet, Neil. Where is that? 1150. Yeah, so yesterday we dumped down $50. Today, I don't think it's going to be a rip or tank kind of day here. If anything, I'm more worried about the downside. So I think that the risk more is to the long than to the short. But right now, bouncing around this 1125 could be interesting if it does get that low.
There's also, with 1 minute to go, there's this I don't know how to pronounce the company name, but they're presenting at CES here today, actually at the Microsoft Pavilion, I do believe, because they got a partnership with them. Their news is actually pretty solid, but again, when you get a sell-off like this in the pre-market, I'm usually going to think it's profit taking. And the daily chart, whoops, I went the wrong way here. The daily chart is going to tell you a story of it trying to break back out here at that $8 range and sort of failing to do so. So I'm looking very, very quickly at the open off that $8. I think below that price, it can be shorted. If it gets back above 8, has a chance to be a bit of a runner. But it's interesting that this sold off and never really found a bid just yet. I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't get stopped out on Longeveron until the open. Now I'm going to have to get back into it, because if it does a failed break at this 14.25, then I'm jumping right back into the same thing. But WEJO, as I'm about to hit the countdown, if it pops to 8, that's another fader. And I wanted to look at Rally, but there's way too many small things moving around here today. That at $8.90 to $9 looks like a good resistance point as we drop the bell for Ms. V. 2 and 1, ring it.
Yeah, Ms. V is in the building. Thank you, Ms. V, for that one. Palantir down to 18. We'll see how low this one wants to go. Yeah, Longeveron, wow. Can't believe how high that one went out there. Neil talked about getting out, so he'll probably reload that. So we'll see what will happen with Longeveron right now. But Palantir dips to 18. We're waiting a little bit lower, man. We do have a starter position here at 18.10. We're going to wait to get a little bit lower than that if that one wants to go. So right now, Longeveron, we're looking to see what's up with that name as we go. So that's the name right now. Here comes Palantir getting ready to get reloaded up.
Yeah, and I wanted to wait for GM to open up as well to see if it would try spike. It actually did. It spiked up to 65.75, and you're going to see it actually fail there. So now it's going to be a short. I wanted to make sure it didn't break the top at the open. Once it doesn't do that, I'm going to start into this one. I did reload Longeveron. I kind of said this might be the case. A lot of times I always stick to my stop in that time frame, but if it does the failed break like it did here, it didn't get past that 14.25, then I'm just going to, 14.50, then I'm just going to jump back into this one. The NASDAQ, I mean, like you just said it, it's heading back towards the bottom already. We'll check in on Beyond Meat, but that was already falling too far.
Come on, Palantir. As if Palantir, the bottom, I'm at 95, the bottom's 96. Like, we'll just continue to wait, but that always seems to happen to me, man, but that is what it is.
Oh, yeah, Sens broke.
So we'll wait to see on that one. Sens broke to the upside. We still watching.
No, down.
Oh, down.
Sens broke down. So it broke that $3 range. So we talked about that 50 period in the 200 cluster and filling in the gap. Well, I shorted it in the middle and then shorted the break as well. So I actually end up with a price. I didn't get enough shares. You can see I wanted more shares at 10 and 12. So the majority of my entry is actually when the 3 broke instead of up at that 307. But Sens trying to fill in the gap as well.
Okay, so we're going to split up orders now, one at 97 and then one at 93 to get the average price of 95. There it is. So we take the 97 bid here on Palantir. I was looking at DraftKings here. This was a name that we wanted to get short on. It hasn't happened up here. So we were talking about shorting this 27 level. It's right on our sticky note, but again, it didn't get close enough to it. I mean, it only went to 65 there. Look at the NASDAQ, man. We talked about the NASDAQ was going to be in trouble today. Again, it's right on the sticky note here. I hope you guys like it. Thank you. 30 retweets right now for this. But there goes Palantir. So again, we're going to wait here. We're going to see what it wants to do. But it looks like for now, Palantir coming right back down into the downside. This is right into the teeth that we thought we would see again here today. So we'll hold this long and see what we could do from here. But right now,
why couldn't GM do this yesterday?
Did GM finally tank? That's another call that I had.
It hit 65s.
Oh, okay. Well, again, 65.80, guys, was our short. It went to 75 and then dropped down 75 cents. A little bit of a frustrating day here so far, but oh man, did we have this GM short or what? Darn it. But let's see if it can retrace back upside. But we were a little bit too, we missed the short by 5 cents. So let's see if we can reload it up here as it's starting to come back a little bit.
Yeah, I just took some out at that in front of 65. I'm reloading on pops. I want to make sure we get back into this one. And when it's that rollover trade, I like the reload almost every chance that I get. Long Jevron, I'm going to go 0 for 2. So I'm going to stop with that one. I got to get over to Pfizer because it did make the breakout. I never got the dip buy. I'm sitting on the bid 55.50. It got to 55.60. Now breaking through 56. So I'm gonna take shares out at the 56 quarter because that's the gap fill that I was looking for. You can see that here. But I still want to maintain buying the dips overall in Pfizer. Like, that's worked. I just missed it by about 10 cents or so. I'll maybe get the truck back going to like 55.80, maybe 56 even as it comes back in. Sens, that's starting to actually fall apart here. On the 15-minute chart, it looks a lot more extreme than on the 1 minute. But yeah, it's now down at 290. My next bid's down at 285. If it goes to 270, that will be giving everything back. I think that's a distinct possibility. And then that Wejo, that we just right at the end we're talking about, it does a small pop into 730. I like 775 in front of that $8 level. Doesn't look like this one's going to get there.
Yeah, and yes, sir, we're going to go, oh my God, look at Long Jevron. I know Neil tried that again. We're going to see if it takes out this 15, but we've already been up there. So maybe 1480 or so on LGVN here to get out. This is a nice 70-cent winner right here for us. So, we talked about being in opposite positions there, and some days it works for one of us, and other days it works for the other one. So today on Long Jevron, it looks like I will temporarily be the winner. Who knows what's to come? The day is 4 minutes old right now. So let's just not, like Neil says, count our chickens here before they hatch on Long Jevron.
Yeah, there goes XO1. We
started to go again, XO1 to the upside probably.
Forgot about that break. It was at that high. Now, got brought to the attention that you were breaking out on the daily there, but did miss out on this one, unfortunately. So I'm going to kick myself because we talked about getting into energy and playing it some more, and then we didn't pull it up. So there's a lot of things moving, a lot of things to watch, and obviously that's going to lead to some distraction here. But if you got that, congratulations. I just saw someone talking about U.S. Steel. That looking pretty good. Here's the dip coming in Pfizer as the market is. The market's starting to really flush. I mean, I just got filled at 55.90 here on Pfizer, like 93s on the dip just in front of VWAP. So the break is going to end up working out. I took the break way back at 55.60, already profitable on it. But that's the only thing I really like to the long that I can find that isn't energy missed out already. U.S. Steel missed out already.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I was just looking here at Palantir. It's coming back in. We do have the average price of 18 flat here. So let's see if this one wants to go. It's just resisted the bottom one more time. So, hey, always better ideas to get in down here. But again, I say that this is going to be my New Year's resolution here to be a little more patient with these trades. And so I just should not have taken that one. I'm fine with all of these in the 90s. Let's see if it wants to work its way back up now. So hopefully this can get going and Palantir will take us out. Again, even around VWAP is 1810, something like that, just to start the day. Let's just start our typical trading happening here on Palantir. And again, if it breaks below 80s, then you really got to start getting aggressive with some of your outs because that has been said bottom. So we'll see if Palantir wants to go right now. Did GM get back up?
I'm going to do this. Well, GM's, it's getting close. I'm actually going to try to reload it soon. But Pfizer, we did get the reload. It just got some out in front of that high again. It's that 56.25 to 30 area that was the gap fill that I want to make sure I'm grabbing some profit. But General Motors, if it comes anywhere close to that top again, it's the pop and fade. It looks like, right now it's at 35s. I'm sitting at 45s. I might step in a little bit earlier. I got 42s last time. Brendan's got to move.
Big mover, guys. Alibaba back at it again after the Charlie Munger news yesterday. Just took out that high from late in the day, 120.80, 121. Big volume here for Baba again.
Mr. Baba. So we'll do a little bit here because we'll just go, wow, like Palantir doing the same thing it always does. And again, this time we're going to try to hold. It came right back up to VWAP. This is a good trade for me. We're long 99. We were long O's, so it's only a 5-cent win now, which is crazy. But again, Palantir, you got to up your share size a little bit here and just understand what kind of trade you're doing. And we talk about that all the time on the show. So let's just move on from that. But that's what I'm doing on Palantir. The next out is about 8s or 10s, something like that. And then we'll see if it can moon from there. I don't know, though. Palantir's not mooning at all these days. But AMD, woo, what? Oh, God, again, goes right down to yesterday's low. Wow. Man, that got cracked off that low NASDAQ. 140.67. Today's low, 140.70. So that was an amazing opportunity to buy AMD down there. And then you just get a nice little dollar bump right there. So hopefully some of you did that. Not like me. I did not. But that would have been a great opportunity to buy that bottom. Normally, I'm sitting right there, man. And unfortunately, we miss it. Looking at, again, we just have an upsized position here on Palantir. So that's why we're sort of watching that name a little closer. But AMD ripping faces off. BABA ripping faces off as well.
There's a halt here on this DTST. It wasn't on the radar, but thank you guys for putting this one out. It's indicating 454 as the open price. You did halt almost immediately here at 932. So I guess it's going to be a 10-minute halt, 942. It'll open back up. If you just quickly look at the daily chart, there is a level up here at about like 450 to 480. I think if it fails at that price, well, maybe halts a second time and fails around that price, it could get pretty interesting for me to want to take a trade. General Motors, like, it's ridiculous. Like I said, I should have gotten more aggressive on the offer and then didn't until it was too late. I was sitting at 42 and 49. Can cancel those, and who cares? I'm not going to get them. And then got more aggressive at 35, tried to chase it to 30, and now it's falling like an absolute rock. So, I guess it's going to come back in here. I got nothing on the reload, and of course I reload Sens instead. It tried to test back up to $3. That's that big level. It was a 50 period in the 200. I get 97s again here. And then just going to scalp that one out back down towards 285, where I then want to maintain the short position. So missed one, but got the other. Hopefully Sens can do some of what GM is doing.
And guys, I don't know. I wasn't really hearing anybody. I was going through Twitter. I didn't really hear too many people talking about the short here on GM today, but there it is right there, man. $66. We missed it by 5 cents on that short, and GM now 64.80. So there it is right there. We'll put the sticky note in. You guys can have a look at what we're talking about. We also said buy some dips in the bank. So check that out, guys, and please retweet this. 30 retweets today. Let's get that going a little bit. Just like hitting the like button, hit the retweet button on that one, and we'll get going. And there's Palantir. Yes, sir. Finally, let's go, Palantir. Let's take some more out here as we're going up to the upside here. 14s, 15s, 16s, starting to blow upside. I told you we were oversized this position today here, and now we've taken out only a third of the trade as we keep going. Yes, sir. Another out there at 20. Palantir for the win, guys. A big trade for me today. So let's go. We already brought Miss V on the screen. We could do another like count. Please hit that like, as right now Palantir is on one. Let's keep on going to the upside. 22s, 23s. This is a big trade for me, guys. So here it is, Palantir. Hopefully you guys have that today. I don't know if it's going to be a good investment from here, but I do know it's a great long. We are long sub 18 now on PLTR. Let's go, buddy and Miss V.
Hey guys, I hope you're having a profitable and fun morning. If you just joined us, I remind you that we really need your support. Please smash the like button. We already have 1,600. This is great. Let's break all the records and get 3,000 today. We have 6,000 people watching. So we need your support and your like. Back to you guys.
Yeah, and here comes that Wejo stock up to that $8 range. If it gets up there, I'm looking for the short trade. Monster volume spike, bigger than at the open. Anytime you see that, you've got to consider that it could extend that move a little bit. So it's twice the volume that it put in at the open, just happening now. Looking for about $7.75 for an entry. $8 is going to be the stop, and we should be open up in a matter of seconds on that DTNT that just came up.
And William, you and I both, my friend. There it is, man. William Craig hits his goal already. I asked you what you were trading earlier, William, and I think you maybe didn't see that, but let us know what it is. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to do the shimmy. If you want me to do the shimmy, I will. But right now, Palantir to the upside. A nice movement. Look at this. Let's go. Let's just go, Palantir. What a trade for this one, man. It just resisted, and sometimes they're easy, and sometimes they're not. This one, Palantir, just again, off the bottom. Like, if you're watching the show, watch it for Palantir alone. We've been destroying this name over the last couple days. Look at this thing, just bouncing off these bottoms. Like, it doesn't get clearer than this on PLTR. Let's take out another piece here at 44, and there it is. One more out. Like, look at this. Boom, 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 boom. And we only got out of a third here, so now we're getting closer. We're now out of 2/3, but this is a 55-cent win now for us on Palantir. So again, on the sticky note, thanks for the love, guys. As crypto's starting to go back up, this is just go, 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 go. And just wish that we had the short on GM, but we don't. At least we called it. At least you guys hopefully were able to put some puts on or whatever. But shout out to you, William Craig. Thank you so much for that super chat. I would like to know what you're trading. Let me know there. put a dollar super chat or something in there, and we can highlight it. Just easier to see that as we're trading right now.
Yeah, I'm going to get another reload here in Pfizer's. It looks like it's making another bottom. It's been a pretty good scalp so far in that trade. I want to get attention to Uber, which is making that breakout on the daily. This is another name. It's like, give me a break. Like 2 days in a row, we're looking at that same level, and this is the day I don't have a stop order through that top break. Watch out, 200 period's going to sit here at 46.5. That does give it $1 worth of range to still continue to the upside. So I don't mind buying a dip here if it comes back into 45. So I'm going to park it on the bid. I think 44.50 is a reasonable enough out that we can always take that. But at this particular point, Uber, another one that's sort of getting away from us. I was looking, Brennan?
Thanks, guys, from other Chinese names once again today. Here goes PDD up 3% for Pinduoduo. I'll flip over to JD.com, just trying to get back through pre-market highs here. Volume coming into JD as well.
Yeah, that DTST just reopened here. The volume's pretty solid on it, but it looks like it's trying to fade back in. It halted once and trying to take out a high at $5. It fails to do so. If it reclaims this bottom that I'm looking at 440 here, this could turn into one of those sort of shorted and favor the short for the rest of the day. It's not there yet, but getting close.
Oh, wow. Look at our new core today. Kaboom. Yes, this is why it pays to be diversified, because we're long Nucor, guys. Shout out to Austin if you're in the chat. I know that's something that you're in as well with me here. We bought Nucor $95, guys, and man, is that working out right here. We bought it on this dip here. We didn't have anything for the, well, we have, I mean, I'm long GE. I have a few other names. I mean, I'm long like 50 names. But again, you know, we bought some more Nucor. Didn't really have too much infrastructure play, and Nucor came right down as a gift, man, all the way back here. Every time it comes up here, though, Austin, and anybody else that's with me, I haven't sold. It's been up here before, and we didn't sell. So this might be a piece. Watch my Twitter. I'll post out if I'm selling anything later on. I can't do it during the show, but may start to sell some Nucor here later on, as this is an extended 5% move to the upside on this monster stock. I absolutely love it. We could check out what's happening with U.S. Steel, probably something.
It's up to.
Something probably up, something similar. Yep, 5% as well. So a better move today for steel names than the rest of the market. And then there's Nikola, man. We talked about trying to go long on the pre-market break, but again, we are too focused on, you know, Palantir, which turns out to be a monster for me. I could be done right now for today, but 1080 here was a good break. We talked about that 1085. You guys remember that? Take the pre-market high. It's right there. That should have been taken. And again, it's right here on the sticky note to talk about taking that pre-market high. So if you're on this, unfortunately, I can't take everything, but there it is. Watch for pre-market high break. That was 1085. So right now, it's 1118, guys. Please like, share this, and I'll keep doing it for you every single day. There's tons of on here. We'll have to look also at Beyond Meat soon, because I know that that's making some moves.
Yeah, and making some moves at DTST just put a run up to $5, touched 97s, and then put in a bit of a failure. If you know anything about sort of pop and drop, yeah, you go to an even dollar level like that. I just jumped in. I got myself like 83s as an average price. I'm going to start getting it in front of 450. And the reason why is that halt price has actually held up that halt bottom. And as long as it does that, even if it makes a failure at the top, it's still in a bit of a bullish pattern. So again, if you can structure a trade where you get it off of a level like that, when you're going, it's either a halt trade, violating or holding those levels, or you got a significant even dollar range. And to me, that's $5. And if it broke 5, it would be 6 or 750 or something along those lines. But it does make the failure at 5. If it's going to be a halt trade, you know I want to be involved in those ones. GM, I still have not reloaded any GM, which is kind of a bit of a pain in the butt. The Pfizer reload, now that I've gotten most out of DTST and kind of move on from that. The Pfizer trade, we got a reload here at 55.70. This is where it held support at the pre-market. So at this point, now I'm starting to think about taking some out in front of 56. Good sign that it wants to hold this level, but if you consolidate and don't break back towards the high, then you've got that failed breakout setup at 56, right? So if we don't get back above VWAP and 55, 65 gets taken out, to me, I'm sitting this out until it gets down to 55 even. So you don't want to turn a positive into a negative, especially when it's indicating it could be a false break.
Yeah. Okay. Just trying to review some positions here as we continue to look at what's happening. We did get some more out on Palantir up here. It seems like it's struggling near 50. So right now we have emptied out. Maybe we'll take another piece out right here. 37. Yeah. So it's starting to fall back down. Look at the NASDAQ starting to give in right now. So again, the only trade I really missed was that GM short, but I'm glad that we talked about it. I don't mind shorting Twitter, DraftKings, names like that. So there's more happening here. And let's go over to Brendan quick.
Social media stocks yesterday, Pinterest included, but just took out the pre-market high there for pins on volume, 3.5% back to the upside, guys.
That's a short at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the list here that we do want to short some names like Pinterest or let's look at Twitter quickly here because that was another name that we had on our list to talk about shorting. But again, you know, it's actually it's not on the sticky note, but we did talk about some of that yesterday. And again, a company that's not making any money here or not making enough of it, I'll have to find out what their PE is before I say that. But again, you know, Twitter maybe back into this area. Obviously, we had the huge downgrade yesterday of the whole sector. So that was a big move down. And then they made that bottom at 40.50. There's really nothing in here. Again, I don't know why this chart's not backloading. But on the day chart, yeah. I don't know, what is this level? 42. Yeah, so we're getting close to that right now. So this is probably a decent short to go through here now. We've bounced off the top a little bit. I think this is worth it. Let's short Twitter. But at the same time, like we're long Palantir. If the market continues to bump up, Twitter probably goes with it. And we just got another piece out of Palantir there as it does dip or rip back up there. We get a 39 or whatever right there, 38 fill on that move back up. So we're almost out of this trade, but so far so good on Palantir. And actually, I don't mind loading up a little bit here on Twitter. The only problem is if the market does rip, this will be a loser. So we got to understand that we're sort of just fading here on what is strength today for Twitter. So I'm going to go short now, see if that can work. But we do have that upside target of 42. What's up, Brendan, again? We
talked about CLF late in the day yesterday. If you joined us in the afternoon, had a nice day up to 2280. Here we go again, 6% today for Cliffs, guys.
Yeah, that's another one with Cliffs, FCX. Like diversification matters. I mean, even the consumer durables, I think, are going to be a good play this year. Pins, look, the reason I can say this about pins, and I understand there's some reasons why you might like to pick this one up at a bottom. I'm talking about a day trade, and I know it's right getting close to this 35 level, which was a nice little shelf for it before, I guess. Floor for it, a shelf, well, it doesn't really matter. Floor for it before. And looking at this, if it tries to fill in the gap, that's like a breakout and then potential rollover. After the big move we had yesterday, it was floodgates when 35 broke. So if it gets up to 35, I'm looking for that for a rollover trade. That's all it is. Again, it's just trying to structure a trade and looking for that kind of a regard. I'm still in this Sens, which has been resisting. It's resisting coming back to that $3 range, right? So there were two trades here, one sitting in it and then getting that sort of in front of the $3 level. If it doesn't roll over this time, then suddenly you're holding a higher low and breaking back above 3, in which case I would just cover it. I got 97 as the entry price now, and I'm still sitting on the bid all the way down to this 85 to 95 range. But either way, I'm looking for Sens now to see if it'll give me the rollover pretty soon. Otherwise, I'm going to put the stop tighter into $3.
All right, so new trade alert here. We do have, Sen's a good name for sure. We do have this coming in. So Twitter, we are short. We were just short 72 there. It just ticked down to 60. The bottom wick was 61. We're going to wait to see if we can get something like 40 flat, something like that in here. And again, I try to, you know, and we're trying to do this and explain like all of the trades to you guys here. So what I'm trying to do is basically get this back to where this move started. So if we can get back in here to 41.40 or so as a first target, and then we'll work with, if it wants to tank, all the way back down in. So again, looking at a few different names here, that's going to be one of them. Twitter, we are short, and I want to average in, and then the out's going to be just north of 42. I mean, if we can take out that 42, then that's what that is right here, $42. So we'll play off that. Yeah, your Global Foundries, Neil, you talked about.
Intel's crushing it today, and Global Foundries is down 3.5. Look, I get it. A lot of the run yesterday had to do with the Ford partnership, but really the Nasdaq's going to start bouncing here, and GFS is not going to want to go. I might be burning myself, but look, I'm looking at last week's support down at $63. It's not that it's a pretty thinly traded stock, only 200,000 shares, but for me, it's going to be hard not to try to take this in front of 63 as the market's coming back up and Intel's running. I don't really get that. I understand that it's sold after the Ford euphoria died down, but to continue selling off here today is a little bit surprising given what the market's doing.
Yeah, and that was another name that we talked about, man, was Intel this morning. We went over to Intel and we said that, it's been a dead stock for a couple of years, and then now today, and it's a good stock, man. Like, it's an older name. They released new chips yesterday, up that 4.5%. It's been beat down. It's in the right sector here. Obviously, it has a lot of work to do before you get back to where it was 6 months ago, back up to 68. But, I mean, it's breaking out right now. These are some key levels here for Intel, looking like it wants to break out. So, I guess it's happening. We already took out that 50 period back down here at 50. That's a good 10% move now up to the upside for INTC. So, yeah. I mean, Global Foundries, again, probably some pull. We talked about Ford was too far too fast yesterday. I'm still holding it in my long-term account. So for me, I'm not going to be getting out of this. It's still undervalued anyways. So, but again, yesterday was a little bit of euphoria kicked in with Ford. Everyone was talking about it, and we rifled it to the upside yesterday. We had this whole long. It's just today we really like the short, and ever since I missed it on GM, I haven't really been looking back at anything here today for a short. So GM, we called that short, man, at 66. Of course, it's on New York. I don't know why we switched over to NASDAQ there. And we missed it, guys, by 5 cents. Or actually less than that now that I see this tick. 77s. We were sitting there. I still have the order. I guess might as well cancel it. 65.80. So we had that 65.80 there, and we missed it by 3 cents, or else that would be a $1 win. But that is what that is. As right now, yes, sir. I just wish we had held it all. I can't do it because this is not the way we've been trading Palantir right now. But yes, we're at the highest level we've been at all day here as Palantir continues to go up. We just took our one last bid there, at 50. Palantir, Neil, what a runner today.
Literally, I just talked about GFS and got on the bid, and it pops up like 40, 50 cents. The liquidity is not the greatest, so you kind of just have to sit there and look to get picked up. And some stocks, you can just get in and out wherever you want. This is one where you sit on the bid and wait for it to actually someone sell and hit you, and that's only way to get in. I just got in here, but I had to pay up another 20 or 30 cents, unfortunately. It is what it is. But that DTST, which was the first halter of the day, at least I think it is, I got most of it out. I actually held on to a small percentage of it. I just got into Uber on the dip, by the way. But that $5 level still being maintained. This looks like it's setting up for a $5 break in which I'll get out and reverse into a long. There's nothing to work off of here other than these even levels, right? So you have the whole prices and you've got random even dollars here. So 5 goes, I'm out, I'm reversing into a long. I just mentioned getting into Uber for the first time. I like that 44.50 level for a couple of days now. It does finally take it out in the open the day I don't have the order. And if it can hold up this higher level at 44.80 in front of that 50, will be pretty good, but I'm not going to add until it bounces off of this. So just added a GFS long, just got an Uber for the first time. I'll be long DTST only if it breaks $5. And for now, I'm going to hold on to GM. I don't really know. There's a 64 level from yesterday up to like 64.40 that could turn into support. But until I see support made, I'm not getting out of it. Was that Brendan?
General Mills, guys, another obviously consumer staples type of stock, GIS here, having a nice day. Just broke through day highs there on a volume spike. But, I mean, even this type of name on a bit of a week and a half, 2 week long run as well for General Mills.
As long as it's not Kellogg's.
Twitter, guys. I mean, again, another 50-cent win right there. 40 cents comes right back. It was 50 cents a couple seconds ago. As we touch down to 35 there. 40 cents. 35, 44 cents. We just took some out at 50. So we took a piece out. We were going to wait for 40. It bounced around a little bit at 50. So we'll take that 25 or 22 cents there on Twitter. And now let's wait to see if it does fall back in even more than this. So I still think, we talked about shorting these companies that have been obliterated lately. I still don't like the environment for a lot of these names, so we'll see if it comes back down here. Twitter up 1.5% today. Probably shouldn't be into a negative NASDAQ, so that's why we short that name. Twitter continuing to make moves down to the downside. But, I mean, we're kind of just in chill mode right now. We talked about a DraftKings short at 27. Let's check out where that is right now. It's still bouncing around, so maybe this is no good. I'm going to cancel a little bit here. Actually, we'll still take a short. We're going to take a short closer to 27. Like, if we can get, we're actually sitting at 95, so if we can, wow, that actually went to 90 there. Okay, so I just need to regroup here. Let's take an offer. I mean, my prices have been almost dead on, almost to the point where it's been a detriment, where almost too accurate. We need to be a little bit more aggressive with our pricing here, because sitting too close to 27 there, we miss it by 5 cents, and we miss the GM short by 2 cents. So get a little more aggressive. Maybe that's something that we have to do here as GM, just continuing to tank CityMed. Thanks for checking out the sticky note. It's all over that. So check that out. Also, the Palantir long is on there. So that's been a nice winner for us. And we're just continuing to look more. Aunt Kathy selling Twitter. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing. And I told you guys today would be light for me. We didn't want to have too many positions on today. And so far, we're just going to do what we've been doing, making that cash. So let's just look for more opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, it should have been an opportunity, I guess, to short more in front of $5 at DTST. That holds it like a charm, and a lot of times I would have reloaded, but again, it's a low float runner, so taking multiple cracks at it when the volume is sticking up and it holds the high is usually not the best idea in the world. I got my bid to get out of the last of these shares in front of that halt bottom at 430. I think it's a separate trade. If we take that out, I'll be looking for a different style of trade down there. This sends it now looks like okay, I just got filled at 93, so I've been waiting for this. It's been holding this 3 level. And I'm like, yeah, if it breaks this might actually make a run at 10s, 15s, maybe even that 20 top. It finally broke 94, 95. Looks like it could be headed back down towards that 85. So this might work out. Global Foundries might not work out. So maybe there's something else going on here. I mean, obviously, it's right down at the low. It hasn't broken the bottom yet, but it's going in the opposite direction here. So obviously, Global Foundries not making the move I was anticipating after watching Intel so strong and thinking GFS might find itself a bit of a bid. That is yet to happen.
And bye-bye Twitter. We're just going to sit back, relax. Like I said, we may be done trading. I'm going to still find some more opportunities. I want to check out some Twitter, some Tesla maybe, some Facebook. But yes, we'll raise it up, guys. Congratulations to everybody today. I'll just look at every name that you guys want so far. So far, so good. 50 cents in the money on Twitter as it's continuing to go down. NEO making a nice little move backside. NVIDIA almost back to green, which has been nice. AMD ripping around as well. Today. Wow, darn it, we even talked about that bottom. That would have been great. So some missed opportunities here today, but what's been a good day so far? I don't want to throw good money here after good again, bad money after good if we don't have a good strategy. But right now, it's a nice move to the upside. Tesla as well, breaking 1160 now. It's been good, man. Micron almost at 100. Pfizer rocking and rolling. Cliffs up another 6%. Nucor running our account today is nice, so we're happy with that. And we're also happy with Brendan chilling out over there at the big screen. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at how we're doing so far. Overall, it's kind of quiet outside of the NASDAQ. That's where the weakness is coming from. Again, you can see 0.4, 0.37 there for the composite and the 100. Market's kind of in a wait-and-see mode ahead of, again, the Fed minutes coming this afternoon. The Russell 1000 back to red, but 2000 still in positive territory. A lot of strength in small caps right out of the gate this morning, but they are starting to fade off a little bit here. S&P and the Dow exactly flat, we'll call it at this point. Here in Toronto, 0.3 for the TSX. Let's have a quick look at a couple of things we were talking about. Yeah, Nikola with a nice move out of the gate this morning through that last little high there in the pre-market up to 1120. Decent volume still behind that. 10 more trucks ordered from Nikola. Fisker presenting some pretty cool technology, in fact, at CES today. Also on the list today, testing that high as we speak for Fisker, guys.
Yes, sir. And that DTST, again, we always talk about the community being fantastic, and so I'll throw it back at you guys because I monitor the halt page, but when it gets active in the morning, sometimes if it's not on the list, you don't notice it, and I didn't flip to that page to see DTST halt. You guys pointed it out, and it gives you a golden opportunity off of $5. Look, the halt upside, that works like gangbusters, so the long was just fine here, whether it was breaking the high or they're taking the halt price up. But once it stalls at an even number like that 5, you take advantage of it. I'm out of it now, and I want to see it trade back below. I mean, it looks like a 425 halt, so you don't get to hit the 420, but 425 looks like that level. Uber, I did miss it off the open. Thank you for hitting that. I think it was either Rob or Lucas. But Uber, I did miss it that first time. I'm going to pull it back to the higher time frame so it looks a little bit better on the 15-minute chart. Like, this is that 1450 area break that I was talking about, but it did fail that at the top here to 4480. So that's where you're buying the dip in front of it. I got it right now. I just got the first target out at quarters. I'll take some out at 50s again. But when buying the dip, look back to those clusters where the breakout initiated and that failure. And all of a sudden, that resistance turns into support, and you can use it on the way back down.
Another 40-cent win right there. So we'll go, yes, sir, as hopefully the Maple Leafs can get back in and start to play again at home would be nice. There it is. Look at this, guys. We take an Alibaba break. 126 out, 126.40. So a nice move there. We're still holding a small piece, but out 2/3. We'll see. We'll reload this back at 125, but there that goes. Oh, yeah, and guess what happened again? Look at this. Like, this is what we're doing today. We are absolutely just hitting these levels. Twitter comes all the way back up. We reload the short again. Boom, right back down again, another. So that's an 80 print. Excuse me, remember we talked about being at 41.80. There it comes right back down to 41.60. So there's 30 cents. There's another 20 cents. And we'll still now hold another piece of Twitter here, the same piece, 41.80 short. So we'll hold that. Hey, if it takes out 42 now, we'll lose 20 cents. But we've already made 50. So far, so good on that trade. Alibaba pulling back in. We said we'd wait for a good opportunity. How about Alibaba? Charlie Munger to the rescue right now, up to 126 and change and still bumping. Here goes Alibaba. So we're starting to break out now. Obviously, I hold Alibaba. If this can get back to 170, we'll get out of that name. But right now, not today, obviously, but, well, that'd be nice. But if it gets up there at any time, there is some clusters there today. If it goes there today, then we'll just retire.
I'd sell it on the show. If it, like, you got to get out. If it spiked up there, I'd be like, I'd race to take that. I'd race to take it.
Yeah, that's
Don't get me wrong. I'm actually surprised that this hasn't been said because the whole Aunt Kathy thing. How has Uncle Charlie not been said at some point? I'm just saying. Uncle Charlie to the rescue?
Uncle Charlie could be your thing. So Uncle Charlie, and I'll take the Aunt Kathy and...
well, only because of the ARK versus Berkshire
Uncle
thing.
Carl. Remember, that's Uncle Carl.
Hey, man, if Uncle Carl gets involved, if you hold shares of something and Uncle Carl comes in, it's like the gift that never... It's just golden. He's a great activist if he's on your side.
I was going to say, let us know if anyone knows who Uncle Carl is, but I think they'll know that.
Everybody knows who that is.
Okay. Great job, guys, on the Palantir. Thank you, Mike. I mean, thank you so much, guys. The Palantir reload, guys, an absolutely fantastic trade there, and I'm super pleased that you have that as well, Mike. I mean, and thank you. This is for all you guys out there. We'll go. Sometimes our ideas are good, but we'll fire off some hot dogs for you there, Mike. But look at this idea. What about a better, like, we're bigging up our, look, Palantir, I'm super happy with it. It's a great trade. I just like it because we loaded it up. We're confident. And this was what we talked about again. Tips for new traders. Buy things, trade things that you're comfortable with. But this is a 40-cent winner. I have a 40-cent winner right here on Twitter, and I'm not even talking about it. So there it is. It's a nice move down on Twitter. But this is what we're doing, man. All we're really doing is just stacking it up, man. Going to the carnival, putting our money down, getting the trades that we like, hitting them, and there's another successful one. So yeah, we ride the bear today to prosperity as this is going. And then look at Alibaba, again, right back to day's high. We have that. This is what I mean by sometimes sitting on your hands and just flat out chilling is going to be the winning trade. So right now, Alibaba up, another 60-cent win for us. This market is rocking. 50 cents for Palantir, 70 cents for Alibaba, and 40 cents for Twitter. We'll take it.
I was going to say it's a bit of a turn on the NASDAQ. Not huge, but like a tiny turn just sort of coming back down. You'd hate to see, like, you get that wick bottom. For us not to break back out at like 16.3 or so wouldn't be a very good sign for the overall market. But, well, that's the overall market. I shouldn't say that. I should say for the NASDAQ specifically and for tech specifically. That means global foundries might not work. Thankfully here, I'm not moving my target. Actually, no, I did move my target a little bit on GM. When I traced it back, and I'll keep it on the 1 minute, when I traced it back, I sort of looked at the opening range at 10 o'clock. This top was at 63.80 or so. Then that became support. So if it gets down to that level, I'll get out somewhere between that and 64. But for now, I'll sit beneath 64. It's just a small change there when we zoomed out, because we always say when in doubt, zoom out. We're supposed to listen to ourselves on that. Still hanging on to this sends position. I have not gotten the last of my bids for now at 85. Even if I get this fill, I'll still be in half. I got the reload a couple times at 3 even. This has a decent chance that if it takes out 285, we could be heading right back to where it was in yesterday's price action. Uber, I have not reloaded just yet. I think there's going to be an opportunity here. It has bounced one more time off of that 44.80-ish level. I got the long around 45 even, but with the market looking like it might want to break back down, I don't want to be reloading the longs if the NASDAQ is going to be failing that level. I think, I'll ride it if it continues to go higher, but no need to double dip down here when it's already shown you a break. And if you miss the big move on the break and you get the dip, sometimes you just got to take the muted profit there and not get too greedy. You can't get that FOMO that you missed the bigger move. You got to trade what's in front of you, and what's in front of me is saying we could reverse here, and I want to make sure I don't turn a winner into a loser.
Or to Ethereum. Okay, I don't know what that means, but right now, WonderFi, again, another 8%. We had them on yesterday. Shout out to Kevin O'Leary and the WonderFi team as they were on yesterday. You could have taken the open print and got like 235, 240, something like that. So you'd be long there, and then a nice little move to the upside. What was it doing yesterday all day, though? Kind of just barcoding here. So not doing a lot yesterday, not a whole hell of a lot of volume, but still a nice move up. And there's, so you could have had the bids yesterday. What are these prices? So even at the close, you could have had 240. So 243, let's just say, you've probably hit the ask. Again, not much volume. Today's volume is pretty good, 620,000. I think it averages, near 6 to 800. But there's a nice move up again. WonderFi buying BitBuy yesterday. So a good buy for them. And obviously the market rewarding them. So shout out to anybody long on WonderFi. Okay, Apple weak today, but that kind of goes without saying as Apple just continues to make moves every day. But again, the market is 0.44. Look at Apple, 0.28. So you're the same. It's the same level. Yeah. Let's go, Twitter. So just looking at Apple, but I'm going to go back over to Twitter because right now we are at the, not day's low, but at the low here of my holdings as Twitter just continues to go to the downside here. We're short Twitter up here, and now it's back in. So this could be just an area to clear it out. 41.25. Obviously, if the NASDAQ does go tank city here, as does Twitter. So I like this short. We're in this, and we'll see if we can hold it. But right now, Twitter to the basement here, hopefully. And this is what we talked about. If you don't like the sticky note, that's fine. And I'm sorry that I keep on pumping it. But honestly, the feedback that we get, it's the most liked and retweeted in any post that any of us put out here is the sticky note. And look what we talked about right here. We talked about this shorting. I actually, before I sent this out, I had Twitter in here instead of DraftKings, but we were shorting some of these names. We talked about Twitter here, so let's see that. I also wrote down, let's see if AMC is going today. So we do want to have another look. Let's put this out. Check it out. The sticky note today gives you a few different names, man. It gives you the GM short, might be top heavy. That's been a cash money short if you're a GM. We talked about Nikola taking out the pre-market high. It does that, and now is way in the money. I forgot to check on Beyond Meat. Palantir's playing off the 18 long. Can't say anything about that one. And then DraftKings, we haven't hit anything today because it's not moving. But Brendan has another name, I believe.
Little one, Boxlight, we've talked about before, BOXL, out with new financing this morning. And they closed an acquisition of this front row. So if you're into the lower priced, very, very high liquidity type of stocks, this one, a decent one. BOXL up 8%, guys.
Another low liquidity name that's now part of the back and forth in the 100% club is this LIXT. Volume is holding, it's over 60 million in volume now and holding up rather nicely. So if this makes a run at the high, I wouldn't be terribly surprised. A great consolidation. Daily chart's going to show you there's a wick up here to like 350. I think that's going to be a reasonable level if it can chew through this current 310 high. Couple of failed breaks at the open, which would have been a great rollover. Of course, it's like, that setup, man, it's like tries to get through the pre-market high right at 930. There's a million names where you see this happen. If you get a runner that does this, you're shorting the first consolidation that you can get. That was at 295. It wasn't on my radar. I'm just sitting here wishing it was. If it makes the break right now at 75, I think it has a chance to then top and then get to that 310 only because the volume is good. But if it does another failed break up there, I think it's worth a short opportunity. For now, I'm looking to break out at 280. That's a scalp trade because I think you're taking 15 to 20 cents into that $3 level. Uber is going to go back up. Remember I said I didn't want to reload it? It's going to go, and if I reloaded it would have been fine, but I didn't want the NASDAQ turning on me and then reloading something at the bottom when I'd already had a bit of a winner on it. So sometimes you can break your rules and it would have worked out for you. I don't think it was warranted doing it here. If it does get towards that high Uber back up to that 45, 75, I will be closing the trade, because that was the move initially.
Yeah, great pickup on the bottom there. And again, the NASDAQ's rallied here a little bit. We're starting to come back upside, though. So this is the kind of, rally, not really, rally off the bottom, I guess. And now it's starting to make that new bottom possibly here. It's right at, is this the, hold on a second here, because I've just recently changed this. I thought this is still, yeah, this is still VWAP, okay. We're still using VWAP. The 50 period is only going to be on dailies, so just wanted to make sure of that, because this doesn't seem right, but it must be. And again, it's volume weighted, right? So when you see the big spikes here off the open, it takes that in consideration, which is what I want. So the volume weighted average price is not super accurate right off the open, but right now it should be settled down as we're back down 10, 11 or so. But there's the bounce back up, and we just failed right there. So look at Twitter continuing to be a 50-cent winner to the downside, trying to make new bottoms. Maybe we're getting too greedy, but if we can get down here to 40.70 and take the dollar on that name, that's probably what we're going to do here and wait for that. Alibaba continues to be a winner, but it's struggling on the upside now. So we'll see. It's trying to break out through this 126. We've already taken 40 cents on the first part. Now we'll wait to see if it can tick out more. I am trying to load this back up at 125. Flat basically on the downside, so we'll wait to see if that can come in. If we do get that reload, then I'm just gonna, this is one name that it'll look nasty, but we've already taken, like this was a good trade because it's breaking a level, right? We like when it breaks levels. If we're gonna average into something, man, there's no way I'm confident enough with Alibaba, especially a Chinese name, to load anything up. But I do notice that there might be some support down here at 124.50 or so. So if we can get a 125 back in, we'll wait to see what happens here at 124. Fully aware that this could continue a move to the downside if it gets going. Up 5% on BABA, probably a great opportunity for a lot of the smart money to come in and sell this move up. But we're going to play the momentum. People are underweight China right now for sure. How could they be overweight, really? So underweight China right now. We'll see if we can play off Alibaba to the long side. We're still in it. We've already taken 40 cents. We're going to see if that can go. And unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunate. We'll just be Superman on this play. But Palantir, we took off a third, sorry, 20% or 25% of what we had left when it broke VWAP there at 30. So that's fine. It's been a big move upside for Palantir. A great trade there off of what is another great bottom of 1780, man. How many times is it going to touch that? Who knows? But that's that trade right now.
I mean, eventually, with a support level, eventually it just doesn't anymore, right?
That's
like,
right.
That's the
That's
thing.
why you got to get
Eventually, it runs away from it, and then that's gonzo, and you got to pick a higher one. I'm canceling an order on Wejo that I should have done maybe like 10, 15 minutes ago. I would not want this fill. Like when it was screaming up here, and I wanted to extend a little bit further, closer to 8. That was one thing, thinking I was about to get touched as it came up. But when it's fallen back down and holding this $7 level again. If it bases off of this and then were to break that high, I wouldn't want that 790 or 780 short. On the other end of the coin here is this $7 level for a breakdown. If it breaks 7, we could be seeing like 6 to 620, filling everything back in from the move that it made post-market yesterday. So it's got a 7 floor. I'm now looking for a 7 break as opposed to waiting for it to come back to the upside. So we try to let you guys know it's not just like what we're looking at or what we're in, but sometimes those trades where we're looking for a specific setup, something changes, and then the course of action is going to change for me here on WEJ. I'm just going to call it Wejo. GFS, Global Foundries, it's trying to go. I mean, it's a weird one because obviously you're seeing what's going on with the semis making their run. It's made the bottom, and when Intel was ripping and it was right at this low at 63, it was hard not to want to have this as a long trade, but it's not really going. I have an offer in front of this level at 64. I have an offer in front of this next support there at 64.50, or sort of previous support at 64.50. And then from there, I'll just hold on to the rest to see what happens. If it breaks 65, great. I don't see any way it does that without the market participating, but this is the one that is frustrating. Like, obviously I lost in Longeveron, but then I ran away from it. And then the only thing that isn't working out for me here is what seemed like a no-brainer. And maybe it's my bias to Global Foundries. I like the company. But right now I'm just looking for it to extend and make the move that Intel was able to make. If you look at that, like to look at this chart on Intel and see Global Foundries barely break off the bottom, I know Intel, great news with Mobileye and what they're bringing and then spinning that out as well. It's also it's a good value name in the chip sector. It also gives you a play into the foundries that makes money and churns it out there a little bit better than GFS. But at some point, if this continues, there's no way it shouldn't drag something like GFS with it. Although, I guess I should never say never, because then suddenly you tell God your plans and you know what happens.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not going to give my exact prices anymore. But Twitter, we're tweeting this out right now to see if anybody else has this, man. This is a great trade here for us on Twitter. Look at this thing just fall apart. This is an 80-cent winner right now on TWTR, and it just keeps on coming down to the downside. So we'll see if that one wants to. I said in the tweet I just put out right now that the target rate here, guys, sub 40, right? Sub 41, sorry. So we're already there. I didn't even realize we were going down to there, but there's the check mark into this area, 40, 70, something like that. But hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions, anything like that. I'll try to do my best to get to them. And those of you that do hit me up know that I answer as many as I can on that one. And there it is now $1 in the money. Trying to diamond hand this one a little bit here. As Alibaba, okay. So now on Alibaba, and the good thing about the Twitter trade is really that we did this. So it does come back up and reloads us up there, and we get that out. So here we go. Alibaba, long right now, 125.40 here on Alibaba. You can see the spread is dangerous, man. This spread is like 20 cents there when it gets going. So we've reloaded down here at 125 flat, giving us an average price of 125.40. If this can bump up just a little bit, like into the 70s, we'll take another 30-cent winner and then hold it for a fly. So we'll see. Here it comes. Yeah, let's go, Alibaba. Nice little win right again, Neil. This has been an awesome day.
I actually just got reloaded into General Motors. So I'm talking about reloads. The lower high that it put in off of that first failure was 65.35. We waited around for that price and tried to get it up here. We'll get it the second time through, which isn't always the best, but I'm still going to stay committed to it and get right back into it. Uber not reloading just yet. I did just adjust some orders on my Sens trade. But Tesla. It's interesting, like GM just keeps coming back up, right? I pull over to Tesla, and again, it's just opposite directions for these two. As that comes back to the upside, Tesla bounces back down into VWAP. So going to be interesting to see if we bounce off of VWAP here in Tesla and go back towards those highs. I wouldn't even bother longing it, because if the pattern holds true, that would mean to me that I don't know what Ford is doing, but that would mean to me that GM would continue its reversal, come right back down to VWAP itself. So I want to see if that relationship is going to hold true. It has been for the last couple of days. I know we haven't traded Beyond Meat, but the reason I'm not in Beyond Meat is because it just started falling too fast, and it never gave an entry for the short. It just kept going and going and going down without ever giving you any kind of a pop to short a level that I liked. So this is definitely going to be one that got away. That kind of is an easy thing to say on Beyond Meat. And your DTST, if you're still watching that early halt, it's looking pretty weak. It's held the halt price, that 425, so no breakdown just yet. It seems like it's just a matter of time. 425 goes the halt price. I want to go short on this name, but I've been waiting around for it for like 20 or 30 minutes. But you got to be at least patient sometimes.
Yeah, so we got another GM. We got a trade on GM as well. We short that pop back to the upside there on that one. So we'll wait to see where we go for GM right now. I like this trade to the short side, but obviously we want to reload it a lot more upside. So we'll see if it continues to go up. You do see a little bit of a pullback up also in Ford right now off that bottom. So hey, I'm a holder of both GM and Ford stock and Tesla and Fisker, and that's about it as far as the EV space is concerned. And today you were getting a nice little bump up in Fisker, but now you're flat again. So 1750, that could get taken out. But again, I don't really love these names in this environment. And it's just one of those things where you got to be very, very patient with what you're doing here in the EV space. You may want to just look at like what is it, Drive, DRIV, I believe, the ETF there on the NASDAQ. Okay. This could be a name that you want to look at just to sort of spread out some of the, the exposure in this space. If you don't want to pick a name, it's been working. Obviously, they've got Tesla. I mean, I'm going to assume when I see this kind of move that they have Tesla in this ETF, and if they don't, then there's something wrong. It's an electric EV space, so we'll have to see there. Don't know much about it, but I do see you guys talking often about Drive. So if you did want to get into something that's electric vehicles, let me give you the exact name here and who's running this thing. It's the autonomous and electric vehicle ETF. So yeah, you are going to get some other plays in there as well, which is nice with the autonomous vehicles. So anyways, the Drive ETF might be a little safer if you don't want to like pick a winner, but that's just something to look at there as these EV names continue to be a fun one to trade. That is for sure. But not much happening in the market right now. So I guess it's small cap recap time. It's going to be Longeveron, which was a back and forth name today, that's for sure.
Should have gone the third time on that one.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so frustrating on LGVN. Back and forth, a good way to put it, regardless of which way you're looking at it. I mean, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down throughout the pre-market. 1420 ends up being a bit of an area. 1450 above that was that last place that it stalled out. So it was kind of, puts them on, takes them off, puts them on, takes them off through the entire pre-market, and then I added it all back on at the open. But kind of stalling out. You can see volume dying off pretty quick here for LGVN, still up 12.5%. Frustrating, was down a bunch, now back to basically flat on LGVN. This WEJO, 775, I just wasn't looking high enough initially. Ends up being a good trade, but 750, 775, a good area for WEJO, ends up being a decent fade. This SENS, I was just telling Valeria, sometimes the boring, slow, not exciting trades end up being your best stock of the day, which is the case for this one today. 310, there was 320 was the high of day. We're down to 285. Again, though, down here, a problem. Volume kind of dying off, guys.
Yeah, volume, well, I was about to say volume not dying on Micron. It is slowing down, but it's 1020, everything is. But Micron getting towards the high of the day. Another breakout looming here, but just watch out. It's a high of the day break, but on the daily chart, whoops, I'm still on that next here. There we go. Micron on the daily chart, it's been a strong run for it again. One other thing that makes me feel like Global Foundry should go, but breaking out off of this 96 high and heading towards 100. 100's a round number that's going to be hard to ignore when Micron gets there. I love Micron, but $100, count me in, be all over that level too. If I see an offer there, usually the first time you get to a round number, it's a pretty good fade. Like sort of similar to the notion of what Apple did at that 3 trillion mark. Psychological levels are profit-taking centers for people because we're human beings and we kind of fall into those sort of random traps. I think the same thing could happen at Micron at 100. Maybe that push and the NASDAQ finding a bit of a bid will finally make this work out on Global Foundries. It got so close. I was sitting on the offer right up here at like 63.85. I kind of touched their breaking VWAP and did not give me my first fill. I'm not moving it. It has a 10-cent spread, so it's going to come up there. Either it hits you or doesn't. But for now, it looks like it's found a bit of a bottom. And as long as that's the case, it puts in a higher low. I think I have a chance to be able to hold it all day long. Will it go green on the day? I don't think it has 66 in it, so I'll probably be out before it gets there. But there we go. Finally, the one thing that wasn't, the second thing that wasn't working because Longeveron, man, that was frustrating this morning. But Global Foundries finally catching that bid. First target hit. Next is in front of 64.50, and then we'll see if it can run a bit. I find it hard to believe that it couldn't catch up, at least a little bit, after seeing everything else in the space break out today.
Yeah, I hope that Global Foundries can go to the upside, just like I'm hoping right now Palantir wants to go. We did take another 06 bid right now as it comes right back down. And that was, again, we talked about being out. We had 5% or 10% left. We got a piece out. We told you we got a third out there, and then another third out right now. And then we still hold a little bit as our average comes back in, and we take again. So as you can see, right, this is how you know that I was basically out of the position as my average price now upsized to 1803 from being down here. So we just reloaded up down here. So we'll see where it goes. Now another reload on Palantir as it comes right back in. And again, we're not, just like William Craig out there. Again, thank you for the super chat. He made his whole day off the open and made it real quick. This is when you want to play these names. You don't need to be sitting here watching some of these names just bleed all day. You want to make sure that you can play these names at the proper times and then hit it with the proper shares when it starts to move, right? And so that's basically just the key here to trading is understand when volume is present and when you can actually make that money back in on some of these names. Pick your levels, but understand share size. Like I just loaded back up at 6, and here comes Palantir right now, right back in. I thought I had an offer at 13 or 14. It's at 15 right now. So let's see if we can get another out here at 14. There it goes, taking a few. Didn't get fulfilled there, but we'll see if it breaks through 14. It might not. And then we'll take the 14 out fully, and then we will also get a 15, hopefully. There it is, 50. It just rips through everything. So there's Palantir again on the reload. Bang, comes right through right there. I can't even load up those bangs anymore, Rob. Your system is so fast over here. There it is. And then you want another big winner. How about Alibaba back to the upside? Let's take another 36 offer if we can get it. We reloaded on Alibaba right there, 124.50. So hell yeah, that's another 60-cent win for Alibaba. Like, wow. I know, Neil, you've having a lot of success today too. This has been a big day, man. Hopefully the GFS can keep going. Alibaba.
I mean, the NASDAQ's starting to go, right? So look, if that bottom on the, I'm going to do this instead of going back over. You guys can just see my NASDAQ chart in black, and it is what it is. But when you get a wick bottom like this, right? You will wick off bottom, I should be saying. You break that low of the day. It looks like it's going to be another sell day, and then you snap back up. I'm telling you, if we can break this top, I'm not Arun, but I know what a bottom like this can look like. If you were to take this back out at 16.25, you want to hold on to some of your longs, right? This is why I actually just reloaded into Uber, and then hopefully Global Foundries can go. Now I'm going to continue to scalp this in front of the high, but if we take out that top, it's a hold your longs, and if you're short something, it's like make sure that it's like a small cap or something unrelated to the market, because I'm starting to think about this, even GM here, you know, as it tries to get back up to that top. Look, it hasn't broken the high. Like, it has a chance to roll back over, but I want to be patient reloading back into it. We didn't mention this, and I think someone in the chat did, and we should say, the CEO of GM is going to be on a certain other program at 2:15. So if you happen to be in position there, you know what can happen when Murray Barra starts talking and they get the release coming through. So you'll want to always pay attention to things like that. So at 2:15, do watch out on GM. Brendan?
Lithium stocks, guys, having another good day after yesterday. LODE, a little tiny one, $1.50 stock just popped up, 2-day high. So they finalized a deal for this Linico Corporation, which has expanded their lithium mining rights and property ownership. So LODE on the NYSE ARC exchange.
It's here today.
Yeah, I know. What the? Oh, no.
Should load up on that stock.
I got out of, darn it. Darn dope right there, but it's a nice win anyways. I didn't even realize. I was just looking at something there. I didn't even realize that we just took there. We're long at 124.60. We just took another out right there at 125.75. So another dollar in the money there, but we talked about reloading, and I did not mean to leave that order pending there, and I did, and we just got run over. But hey, Alibaba added to the just the stacking up of the cash today. So we reloaded, and now we stack up that cash on Alibaba. So yes, as the market looks to go green, all we're sort of doing is making sure that, you know, some of this money doesn't come flying out, but hey, that was a great reload. I just wish we still had that on right there for that trade on Alibaba. But anyways, a good out, good bunch of trades there on Alibaba. So yes, sir, we ring the Reggie on that one, and we ring it pretty hard. Okay, Twitter goes back up. We take it out at the quarters. I just thought the NASDAQ was maybe blowing to the upside there, so we do take that out, but another good trade for me on Twitter. We were hoping that it was going to be a little bit lower. We'll cancel our Nikola trades here, as that doesn't look like that's going to come through right now. And then really GM back up here. I'm waiting at 70, and of course it goes to 60. So let's take another short here on GM. Very, very small position, obviously, right there. So you're going to see when I reload, my average price will be much, much better up here. So again, I say Mary Barra coming on CNBC is a sell. So we'll short this thing right now, add to this position on GM of what's been just a bang up day over here. What's up, Brendo?
I just saw Fisker, guys, back to day highs here. A little bit of volatility coming back in. Remember, they're presenting at CES today, so there might be some headlines regarding FSR, but just took out the high there on some volume again for Fisker. Let's get a quick check of how European markets are doing so far. 10:30, 1 hour to go, Ms. V. What's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are positive, and along with global markets, keep an eye on rising U.S. bond yields. Online supermarket Ocado trading in London is up around 4% after Berenberg raised the stock to buy from hold. Back to you.
Yeah, yields up. I was looking at the 10-year earlier today, but it's kind of fading off a little bit here, but back to a couple-day highs, guys, for some of the yields.
So a few things to update here. We'll do, I don't know, I'll do this one because I haven't hit it in a while. DTST broke the 425 halt price to the downside. I got short at 24s. I've scalped some out in front of the teens. I'll get a bid out in front of this cluster at 380. The other thing that happened here that was good was Global Foundries touched second level at 64.40 in front of that 64.50 level. It's bouncing back to the downside. I'm going to reload this in front of 63 if I get a chance. So going to patiently wait there. Eventually it had to, and obviously you saw the NASDAQ try to bump back up. Eventually it did follow through, but the one that didn't work out is that Uber, right? So Whoops. Uber is on the New York, Neil. You should know that. Uber, we reloaded it a second time in front of that 44.75 area, got some out in front of VWAP, and then it broke that support. So I'm out of Uber, at least for now. It's still going to be a winning trade because I wasn't holding for the home run. You missed the bigger trade at the open. Sometimes you got to anticipate that that's going to be the case, and it's into a bit of a downward trend here, despite the market trying to make a move here. It is what it is. I'm not necessarily done with it because it's holding support at 44. On the open, you have that level. You also have that breakout originally, this resistance point at 44.35 to 44.50, that's still very much in play. So if it gets down into that range here, I still might look to catch another bottom here on Uber, but I'm going to sit it out for about 30 to 40 cents before doing that.
So now we are in to General Motors. We wanted, and again, it's just, it's being impatient. Remember my first trade was 65.80? Well, we'd have it if we just waited for it. But right now, GM obviously starting to go up, back up to the upside here. So our average price now is 60. So this will be a 40-cent hit. If it takes out 66, I just got to make sure, yes, I do have that order in, so that's good. If it does take out 66, we'll get out of at least a significant part of this, and then we'll see what happens on that top. And the reason why we like that 66 top was yesterday. It was the top, and it's been the top here again. Yeah, I guess yesterday in the pre-market, I guess. Was that the pre-market? No, that was about 1 o'clock or so. We touched about 65.98. However, why doesn't it show that on my 1 minute chart here yesterday? Oh yeah, 65.85, I guess, right here. Oh no, it touches it really early. No, but yeah, 1 o'clock. So we get to $66 at about 1 o'clock yesterday. So that's kind of the high that we're looking at. It takes that out, and then we will have our first losing trade on, despite a little bit back and forth there with Longeveron, which not actually much happened on that one, but we can review that in a minute. Well, Brendan already did it. So we're going to watch out for GM. It looks like it's taking out 66 right now. So this one will be our first kind of like real decent hit here today if this does take out 66. So I probably won't put any more shares on right now. I'm happy with my price being at 60. If it comes back to the downside, we can always take a piece out. Like I said, when it starts to go, it starts to happen right here about 65.40. So that would be a spot for my first out to take 20 cents, which is basically we're risking 40. So if it can come back down, that would be good. And then again, we'll see about a lower low here. But right now, General Motors looking to take out that top. Not overly confident with this position, but we're in it for a reason, so let's see if that reason pans out.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you there. I like taking more shares only if it can, I guess, fail at 60. I guess technically it did just fail at 66, so maybe I should be doing it now because it got to 87. That's pretty close. I missed that Wejo stock, broke 7 even. My stop order triggered and didn't get filled because I didn't cross it aggressively enough. So I end up getting back. End up getting in on the way back up. So I'm short Wejo at 94, but that wasn't on the way down. It actually snapped down to 681, and then I got filled on the way back up at 94. I don't mind. It's fine. And then if it breaks like 718 to 720, like this level here, I'll just get out of it. It's a breakdown trade now for me on Wejo. I was initially looking to short the pop. It decided it wanted to go the other way. Now we're into WJO for the first time, actually. It's my first trade on this stock, despite talking about it a few times. Checking back in with Sens, it just actually hit the bottom finally and got to 285. So we shorted this one on the consolidation. We shorted the 3 break. We reloaded at 3. And now it's finally taking out that low. All that's left for it to do is fill it all back in, down to 275, right? So I'll be flat if it gets down to 275. I will be all out. But the process of starting to cover it is going to have to happen right here, right now. So I'm going to get my bids out there, call them stink bids or whatever. Again, it's just the same thing I did when it broke 3. I'm going to get my bids in. So if it flushes, I'll be out of Sens. It gave you several looks here, but the reason I really love this trade in either direction was as simple as it gaps up out of a consolidation, shows you got the 50 period up here at 320, and you had the 200 at 305 essentially. And then the pre-market range at the top was the exact same thing. So it holds those levels for its range. To me, that says if it breaks out of the range, I'm taking it. It's that simple. I would have taken it long if it broke 320. I took it short when it broke to the downside. It's just, to me, it's pretty binary at that point. I love trades where it's easy to follow your rules because the rule's pretty simple.
Oh, we did? Yeah. I mean, trading is rule-based. There's really nothing else to it. You can play your emotions a little bit and go with some momentum, but you got to have a rule where you're going to get out if there's a problem, right? So watch out for that one. All right, so we're already short GM. That's working out really nice right now. New member alert. What's up to Paul Mall? Paul Madden there. Thank you so much again for that. And we also did bless you. We also have right here a super chat somewhere for $5 that I saw.
Oh, did I get the wrong thing?
I don't know. Anyways, there was a super chat there, and I apologize as I scroll through here. I don't see. Oh, here it is, right here.
Each other wrong.
Squanchy right now.
Squanchy.
Yep.
That's from.
I have no idea.
Oh, Rick and Morty, man.
Yeah, I don't watch Rick and Morty. I need to watch that, I guess.
Great show, great show.
Great show, Rick and Morty. Thanks to the Palantir trade. You are welcome, my friend, for that trade today. What sectors are my long, short? I mean, I'm long. Thanks for asking again, Squanchy Squanch there. I am very, very long, obviously, big cap tech. I continue to love that space. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, as long as you're in the big names, like a Softy, like an Apple, we like all that. But again, good opportunities to reload as these are down a couple percentage points right now. If I had to pick a sector, we talked about this yesterday, is just get diversified. So the pick that I gave you about last week or so was XLF because I didn't really favor a bank. I liked Morgan. I like JP. I mean, I'm in JP Morgan, but maybe buy some Morgan Stanley as that's a name that I'm pretty light on. So I like the XLF right now as well. And then we talked about XLE. Like you can't ignore some of these. The energy plays continue to be pretty hot. So I don't know. I let them settle down now because they've just been so extended right now, especially the XLE trade. So I'd let them settle down a little bit. But for me, these are the kind of areas that I like. And then I am nibbling, as some of you guys know here, into ARC, which is, again, down again today. I just feel like, some of these names continue to get beat up. As look what's happening to GM, by the way. Hell yes, mamma mia. We talk about GM coming right back down, and that's that trade that we like. So when you're in the business, you reload it to the upside as there it goes. Good morning, GM. Wake up and get down to the downside. Someone's making some jokes?
Go to Brendan. I'll show you this.
All right.
BTCS, day highs here, early halter out of the gate this morning, up 50% now, in fact, for, what is this called again? BTCS Incorporated. So they come out this morning and say this, they're going to pay their dividend in Bitcoin. Interesting for BTCS, guys.
I think that's the beginning of what, it's not really the beginning. I guess this is like round 800 million of positive news. You're going to start seeing this. People want to take salary in Bitcoin. Like, why wouldn't you start thinking about paying a dividend, especially if you hold it in crypto? Obviously, look, whether they do or not, it kind of doesn't matter because you can always take whatever you get and convert it if you wanted to. But it's just reducing those barriers is what I want to get to there. I haven't taken you get any out in GM there? I haven't taken anything out myself.
I don't want to get it out. It's just right now we'll unplug a little bit here because we called this. This is finally we missed that big move in the morning, right? So let's see if we can get it now. We just take out 20 cents on that short, and now we'll see if it can fall back in. I told you guys. And again, this is honestly the biggest thing for me about this show, and I hope that you guys are sort of feeling a lot of this, is that very well structured. I said that my first out would be right here at 40. So I'm trying to give you guys levels that I'm looking at here, 20 years plus experience. This is all coming for free. And again, whatever it means to you, take it with either a grain of salt or just try to learn. We've got a lot of super chats where people have finally turned around their trading, finally started to come to the upside on their profitability. And again, that's why I keep doing the sticky note. That's why we keep on talking about things like this. And if you keep supporting us, we'll keep being here for you. So I think that's something that's really important. And there's the first take on this trade. I mean, we don't have any negative trades today. We don't have one. There's not one on board here. Alibaba's been a big trade for me. Man, Longeveron was back and forth. Good thing we got out of that. I actually consider this a win. The fact that we're not still long that name. Palantir. I mean, what else can we say about Palantir? That's what I feel like. It's just coming right out the rear there on Palantir. And then Twitter. How much better can we get on Twitter other than not getting out right there? So far so good. And then, by the way, GM now tanking even more. And this is why we reload. It gives us the opportunity, guys, that when the pins line up, we're able to sit there and take some out. So that's why you put on the shares, you take the trade, and hopefully now we're getting near another reload spot. I'm not even worried about, sorry, that's GM, not even worried about Palantir here. We've gotten out, we took some more out here on the pop back up, and we're getting ready to reload here at 90. So watch out for a Palantir reload. Thank you, Ben, as well, man, for the $2, man. Any super chat matters, and it all makes sense to us. That board looks pretty interesting. Anything you want to talk about before we go?
What's hilarious, I actually, you see this chart here? I had Pfizer up instead of GM. I always match these two together, and it's like I was watching the wrong chart. I'm like, why the hell? GM's going down. Why does it look like it's near the high? Of course, so now I'm going to start thinking about taking some out there. Longeveron, I just want to quickly show this. We show winners and losers. I'm down on Longeveron. I only shorted it. And this is what can happen. You can have the right idea for direction on a trade and the right concept, but execution does matter. So this is the one that I'll spend some time trying to figure out how I could have executed a little bit better. Maybe being patient, jumping in a third time, waiting for the high of the day, all things in play. Or the break of support looks like it was pretty good as well. So lots of things that could have been done better there, but I like the short. It didn't matter. We lost anyways. The board, it's weird because as the market starts coming back down the NASDAQ, I'm looking at a mostly positive board. Let's go to sector watch for Brennan.
Yeah, kind of flat overall for the S&P, guys. We'll talk about a few things here. 0.09 to the downside right now. So, yeah. Farcourt over here. Nucor, Sean, I just saw 6.5% today to the upside. There's FCX right beside it. We talked about Cliffs as well. So some of the resource stocks having a good day, including energy shares down there in the corner as well. Back to the upside today. This is the little real estate group. A lot of those REITs getting hit once again. Industrials having a nice day as well. NLSN standing out there 5.5% in negative territory. Everything else, though, positive today, including Deere, Cat, EMR, HON, and PCAR, all up about 1.5% to 3%. Consumer discretionary stocks, some on the retail side going to be positive, but we are getting some negativity in the hotels and some of the travel-related names. Etsy there down 2% again today. Banks have been among the leaders over the past couple of sessions. Positive again today, but nowhere near what we've seen over the past couple of sessions. Tech stocks in a bit of trouble right now, as we said, trying to come back to the downside, but a lot of individual names standing out, including Adobe, CRM, both on a downgrade today. 5% for CRM, 3% for Adobe there. FIS, FLT, IBM 2 days in a row, trying to offset. ENPH 5.25%. Intel though, same to the upside. So kind of flat overall for semiconductors. Healthcare stocks are basically flat on the day as well. Pfizer and Merck standing out, having decent days on positive news. So as we said, kind of flat, 0.09 to the downside, guys.
You know what we forgot about today? Reliant. Like this, look, if we're going to talk about this, is a day trading show, right? So it's about finding what's moving and getting into it and taking momentum style trades that you can get in and get out of primarily. We traded this. I know you guys traded it when I was gone. We're trading it pretty much every day with the exception of today. But look at the pattern this thing has been doing. We're at the open back to the 29th, dip, run. A day where it's down, dip, run. A day where it's flat, dip, run. A day where it was looking like it was going to be down heavily yesterday, dip at the open and run again. So what do you think it did today? Any guesses? It made a dip at the open, found support at $8, and now it's through 10. So I find myself, as usual, like in a situation where you miss out on both the dip, the break at the high is now gone at $10. It's hard to want to do anything but try to find a top on this, which can be done, but I'll probably wait till like $11. Reliant, super, super strong name for the last couple of weeks here. And continuing, only 11 to 12% today. I know it's had bigger moves, but still the pattern is overwhelming how strong this has been. Global Foundries, you just mentioned the chips there, Brennan. I bought the dip again in front of that 63, out again in front of 64. This time, if it can't get through 64.5, I might just take it all and say forget about it. That's all it wants to give you. We'll take the buck and a half and run away from this. Not nearly as, volume's not that great, and not nearly as strong as some of the other names in the sector. So I can't really ignore that for too much longer.
Yeah, all the banks up today. Walmart up as well. JP Morgan rocking and rolling. And here we go, man. This is why you take out some profits. So that was a good idea. to get out of some GM down there, down into the 20s. And our best bid was the 30s. We took the 40s. We took the 30s. We should have been sitting here at 20, but we weren't. And now we're going to reload one more time as it continues to make a move back up to the upside. This time I'm sitting at 80, so we should be able to get that fill. Let's hopefully it does come through. 70. I guess we were at 79s there. I got that fill early there at 79. Yeah, 79, sorry. So we get that fill. Now does it take out the top? I don't know, but we did take some profit there. So at least if this does blow to the upside, it's not going to be as bad for us. It looks like we waited a little bit too early, or sorry, too low on Palantir. We're actually at, and I said I wouldn't tell anybody because I feel like my orders are getting like front run, which they're not. It's just what I think. 91 we're sitting at. So it only goes down as low as 95. That was obviously a good reload spot. We already took that 95, but I was just thinking it may dip in to test some of these lows. So we were waiting a little bit more patiently there at 91 there for Palantir. But that's Alibaba still going back up to the upside. That was a good trade for me today as well. We're trying to go perfect for you today, but that's going to rely? We just talked about rely there, on a GM dump down. So we're short at 72. It's out of the money right now, 12 cents. Ho-hum, no big deal. But as I said, let's try to get this part out now at 55 or so right here if we can. But we are getting ready to locked and loaded. We actually are locked and loaded now with Justin. So let's go over to Brendan and Justin from our Day Trade the World team.
Hey guys, yeah, it is that time. Some hot topics coming your way from Justin Kozach, Day Trade the World marketing guy at TraderTV Justin on Twitter. Hi, Justin. It's all about CES this week, in fact. So a lot of headlines yesterday, a lot of headlines today coming out of CES. We're going to talk about GM coming up here, but let's go back to Activision because ATVI making more legal headlines today.
Right. So ATVI, for once, not the subject of the receiving end of a lawsuit, but instead the proud giver of some legal complaints. Finally, Warzone players can get it starts to get a little bit of relief, or maybe expect to see some relief on the horizon. Activision launching a legal complaint against Engine Owning, is the company or organization or loosely affiliated group of individuals who have been creating cheats for Warzone and their Call of Duty titles. So the complaint centers on a couple different things. Three of them: trafficking in circumvention devices, intentional interference in contractual relations, and unfair competition, which is a very legal way of saying the software that you have created that allows people to take advantage of some technology that makes it easier for people to win is no bueno. And we are definitely going to hand you an L on this one. So what they're looking at doing is essentially taking down the website, removing all the software, and ensuring that people cannot get access to the software that allows them to effectively breach the terms of service by installing it. So going to be interesting to see what happens now. This isn't the beginning this isn't the lawsuit per se, but this is the beginning of the legal complaint. They are looking obviously for a jury trial on this, and they have named a number of the defendants, some of them by their real names, others by their online handles. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I'm going to be following the story pretty closely, being that I play Warzone pretty regularly and usually can be found screaming at hackers. So it should be fun.
Nobody likes a cheater, Justin. No one does. ATVI, I mean, the past couple of weeks have been pretty good, actually, for the stock as well. Back from the depths of, what is this, $56. We're back to $66. So a nice bounce back here. Not doing much today, but yeah, as you said, we'll see what happens for this recent lawsuit. Let's go to CES, as I said. All the headlines are tech related, it seems, coming out of Las Vegas. A lot of this is virtual this year because of COVID, unfortunately, but still multiple, in fact, automakers debuting vehicles, interestingly enough, at a consumer electronics show.
Right. So, this is something that we talked about a couple weeks ago when we were talking about Tesla. car manufacturers are now technology companies. The technology that they create just happens to be an automobile. So this is very much, it's really interesting that that CES is now moving towards this kind of like, let's see what's new in car technology and bringing out some of the bigger manufacturers. So pretty excited about this. GM is launching their Chevy Silverado EV. EV no longer stands for electric vehicle, means for everyone, apparently, because EVs seem to be the thing that everyone is after. And Sony as well as Sony Mobility Inc. is launching their own SUV and some sedan-looking vehicles. So that's pretty interesting. Getting back to the Chevy side of things, looks like it's going to be using the Ultium platform. So 1, 2, or 3 possible motors, 100 horsepower, 400 miles range. There's a lot of different variables. I think there's more that we don't know that we do know about this. No details like towing, payload, trim level, pricing options, not a lot is known. The only thing that's really known is that GM CEO Mary Barra is going to be doing a live stream today at 12 noon Eastern or 9 a.m. Pacific on the gmexhibit0.com website. So everything, well, I'm sure more details were released, certainly not everything. And their pre-orders are opening up right after the live stream. So we'll be interesting to see how many people get in on that. They sell 500,000 of these vehicles in the US every year alone. So I don't doubt that the success for this is going to be just as good.
It's interesting. Neil and I were having a discussion in the pre-market before we came on about, people are typically Team Ford or Team GM, and they don't really stray too much from that through generations, as far as your family is concerned. But, will that remain the same when it comes to the Ford F-150 Lightning versus the GM or Chevy Silverado? I mean, I'm sure there'll be a Sierra version of this Silverado on the GM side of things as well. So that remains to be seen. There's also Fisker. We mentioned Fisker coming out with more radar technology for the Ocean today at CES as well. So yeah, it's turning into quite the auto show as well. Walmart expanding their grocery delivery service.
Right, so their in-home delivery is looking to reach 30 million U.S. homes right now. It is only available in 6 million, so they're looking to 5x that. And also, what's really interesting, aside from their hiring plans around hiring 3,000 new delivery drivers to help provide the service and then market it in particular in local neighborhoods, is that their delivery vehicle fleet is going to be all 100% electric delivery vans. So everybody's getting electric vehicles for Christmas. Maybe not Christmas, but certainly everybody's getting an electric vehicle for 2022. So EV definitely standing for everyone gets an EV. So I'm pretty excited about this. I think this is a great idea. When you look at just the continuing lockdowns and the social distancing and so on, this is a great time for Walmart to be able to roll out this service more nationally. It will be interesting to see how that gets picked up. And certainly some of the major city centers, they're looking at Dallas, Nashville, LA, Chicago, Houston, Indianapolis, and many others. So Walmart going big with in-home grocery delivery. So, and just the start of that too, there's a lot of other big things that are planned. So
there wasn't actually details on, any kind of contract for those vans, was there?
Didn't see anything for a contract, so we'll be like to know who's developing those vehicles. Good on them. If hopefully it's a smaller company that's up and running. But if they're looking to build out that fleet, certainly it's going to be someone who has that production capability. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that story and see who gets that lucrative contract, because that will be worth a pretty penny.
3,000 delivery drivers being hired. You got to assume that means each one of those is going to get an electric van to drive themselves. So yeah, that'll be a decent contract whenever it comes through. He is Justin Kozach. Check him out at TraderTV Justin on Twitter. Let him know what you would like to know more about, and he will research it for you. Good stuff as always, Justin. We'll speak again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brendan.
3,000 guys, potential EVs coming through for Walmart as well.
That's a lot. And speaking of one of those, GM just break 66. I gave it a few beats past 66 to like 05 just to see if it was a failed break. I would have added if it was a failed break. It was not. So the initial success in the short and then sort of scalping back into VWAP, not going to work as it goes through the top. I'm not long here. It's lunchtime. I don't know. It's a time of day breakout into an announcement. That just feels like the wrong time to be making a long break, because you have look, man, if they sell the news and you're long at the top, I just don't like that as a setup. So that's the only reason why I wouldn't be in this to the long side here on that break, because it is a good level break in general. We were sort of talking about this before. It's like we're even just now and earlier. Yeah, it's like people, the loyalty that you see here, there's no surprise to me if GM, if they get a bunch of reservations, because anybody that wanted to go electric is probably going to stick with the brand that they love. I'm more concerned to see, do they come with a better battery life and certain range? If they do that, I think that can be something that can surprise. They're saying they were going to compared to Ford, but that can just be the top end. And then you want to see the price point on that range of 400 miles. Like, what happens if the lower end range is 250? How does that compare in price to the F-150? So that's going to be the comparison that I think that actually matters here today, and we're going to have to wait to see when the announcement comes.
Yeah, we reloaded up on Palantir. We didn't wait for that 91, man. We took a 95. So now you're starting to go back up to the upside. We're going to be in scalp mode here soon for Palantir, as we're just going to do what we did yesterday, man. Just start stacking up that cash on PLTR. We're only long at 1s now, so it doesn't really matter. But we did get a nice reload down there at 95. So let's wait to see here how far up we want to go on this play. But same thing for GM, man. For me, I waited for 66.10 to get out, but I am holding a small little piece here just to watch it. I'm going to hit this through 66 one more time. So if this can come back to the downside, we'll go short again on a 66 break. We'll watch out for that Palantir to come through as well. And then also, I wanted to, so I'm going to hook this up today. This is from my wife, a Christmas present. This is a coffee mug warmer and a phone charger. So I have questions about this coffee mug warmer. I'm going to find out. Like, if I touch, does that mean that's? Yep, you're right. My mic is right here. If the
Seems dangerous.
This does seem dangerous. It's a coffee mug warmer and phone charger. So I already have a phone charger that sits up here. It's a nice one, but
your hands are,
we'll wait to see how this works. But I'm going to hook this up and we'll find out. But my hands are worth too much money. So if I burn myself, that's not going to be a good look. There goes Palantir straight back up to the upside, and we'll wait to see on a GM fail. But thanks for the Christmas present. I'll update that on the closing show to see how this works. But safety protection, it says.
Yeah, I'm not, because if your hands
It's
are on
not
the
gonna go here,
keyboard
it's
and
gonna
you're
go over
trading
here.
and you reach without looking because you're watching stock and you reach for your mug, you could burn your hand. Anyways, we'll go to
Yeah, it has to be. There has to be some sort of protection there.
Yeah. B?
It must be, I was just going to say, I was talking to Robbie, but it must be some sort of induction type of thing. Like, I know, like, I have an induction burner at home, so you can put your hand right on top of it. It's magnetic, so it works off of whatever. There's earnings, hooray! It's been a while. Yeah, a few notable names, guys, for earnings.
Yeah, what? Bed Bath.
That was the one. Okay, so Bed Bath & Beyond, we were mentioning that
they don't
earlier
normally
in the week.
kick it off, though, do they?
Constellation, it was Walgreens was the one that was reporting this week that I'm like, oh, I'm interested in them because they're making a spinoff, spinning out a portion of their business. I actually like Walgreens, nice little Dow component there. So that could be, look, it's always a good sign for the overall market there. We're gonna test. I'm curious about this as well because it looks fun.
Looks
I'm
nice, man.
My concern, of course, is you never want to burn
Notice
your hand.
the
when you look
no
away.
hand. You can't see. There's a no hand button right there. No
So
hand.
yeah, so of course.
Look, you can see my charts in the background there. That's pretty cool. There we go, guys.
That is shiny.
I'm going to trade like this. Just like use this as the trading tool right there. That's pretty funky. Okay, so anyways, we'll update how that goes. But for right now, we'll belly dance away. Close your eyes because we're belly dancing here. And Palantir. Okay, so first of all, GM, we'll test it on the way back in. Palantir, we just took an 05 off this last bid there. So that's going to be a good reload. We will wait for an upside move here on Palantir. Hopefully the market gets upsized as well to go. But I'm excited to try this out. I have a feeling it may not work, but we'll get ready to rock and roll. It's just a USB. So we'll see if that works or not, but thanks for the great Christmas present, as unfortunately the wife right now at home with 2 kids, because we are doing at-home learning here in Ontario, so hopefully that only goes to the 17th. Our government is a little bit all right, Brendan and Ms. V. Ms. V, we did a like request earlier, and that was basically 3 hours ago. It was like at the beginning of the show. How are we right now? Let's go over to the big desk with Brendan and Ms. V.
As shown, we've done like o'clock twice a show, and we have 2,200 likes. Thank you so much, Jim. It means so much to us that you support us. Thank you for all the super chats and for simply trading with us this morning. If you didn't like this video, please do so. Let's break all the records. And of course, join Prad and me right after to keep trading on this day. Happy National Whipped Cream, everyone.
You finally found a national day that I'm not on board with. I don't like whipped cream, like at all. Like there's nothing wrong with it. I just will never choose to put it on something. It's a weird thing with me. Like if it's on there, I'll eat it at a restaurant. It's not a problem if it's on something, but I'll never choose to put whipped cream on. My brother, on the other hand, will just do like, he's this kind of guy. Like he'll just be pouring it into his mouth when he's sitting there animating, and I'm like,
yeah, that's my kids. Yeah,
I don't get how people do that, but it is what it is. Someone asked about Global Foundries. Yes, I am out of Global Foundries. I took it out in front of the 64.50 a second time. It's just that shelf, like this level here. If it can't break it, the market's really not screaming to the upside. So I'm just going to take the money and run. It's that 63 support, 64.5. That's good enough for me. But whipped cream?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, on a float or on to top off a sundae. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with whipped cream at all. Yeah, I don't have the sweetest tooth. Like I would prefer for my sweetness, like I would like fruit or something like that. But hey, fruit topped with whipped cream sounds like it's a tasty treat. Brendan's probably somewhere in the middle is gonna be my guess.
I was gonna say the same thing. I like it, but only if it's not super sweet. And typically the ones that are in a can are, but if you make it by hand, you can kind of control it a little bit, how sweet it is. I'll say yes.
That's a fair point.
I'm down with the hand control. Here we go to the downside right now for GM. This is a new position for me. Obviously, we're back into this short on GM, so we'll see where it goes down to 89 there. Maybe we should put a bid on that one and take a little bit out as it's starting to come back down. We'll see. It just failed. It just went to 86 and stopped. So I don't know if this is going to be right or not, but Mary Barra coming through on CNBC. So watch out. We'll take a little piece out here if it gets back down to 89, but this is just very, very whippy right now. Palantir trade as well. But hey, good show so far. It's about to get a lot better here on tradertv.live with our market movers. So let's throw it over to Ms. V and Trader Prad. Take it, guys.
Welcome to Market Movers. I'm your host, Trader Prad. This is the beautiful Miss V.
Thank you, Prad. And hey, guys, thank you very much for joining us today. Please, as usual, be active on the chat. Ask us anything. And please be kind and give this video a like. How's your day going, Prad?
Pretty good, Miss V. So far, so good. Looking for more opportunities to have fun with the market, with our viewers. How about yourself? You had a good day today?
I am having a good day. And actually, guys, I'm not trading Tesla today, other names, so we can talk about